Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I please hope that you can hear me. We're 30 minutes delayed into this stream, and with some problems with the audio, you guys couldn't hear me. I really hope you can. Please let me know in the chat if there's any further issues, and we'll see what's going on. Today it is the 15th of June 2019. I'm about to throw my PC out the window, but hopefully we'll get ourselves going very shortly. We're in very sunny Corfu. It's a whopping 32 degrees Celsius. Today we're going to be doing a flight to Nice in the south of France on the Côte d'Azur. I think that's how you pronounce it. My best French there. 5x5, reliability 5, yay voice, excellent. That's a good sign. I have absolutely no idea what happened, guys. I started the PC ready to stream just before I logged onto VATSIM, then the X-Plane crashed. I've never had it crashed. I then rebooted the sim, 10-minute delayed, and then I started the stream, and then the mic just was not working. It was on, I hadn't muted it, I checked the Streamlabs settings, it was just not picking up the audio. So as with all things, you turn it off and on again, usually works, and reset the PC again, and so far so good, fingers crossed. But sod's law, I logged back into VATSIM, and who was waiting for me? It was that chap in that Qantas A380 who started spamming straight away. Thankfully, you didn't see any of that, so I'm going to start off offline. We'll try getting back onto network later on, but just to get the ball rolling, because I don't have all day to stream here. Anyway, guys, thank you very much anyway, all for your patience. Here we are in Corfu. You might notice we have this lovely new overlay design from Project Fly, which is suggested from our new users. Also, if you become a new member or you tip and donate, you can see yourselves there. The last 3 events pop up on the stream as well. Just something to make it a little bit more interactive as well. So yeah, as I said, 32 degrees here in Corfu, live weather, absolutely scorched show. I've calculated everything. We could only just about get airborne with the performance calculations we've made. But without hesitation, let's jump into the mod and get going. I was rather hoping we were airborne by now. But so are these technical delays, and we have them in the real aircraft as well. I haven't seen a lot of you for a while. It's been a long time since I've streamed, about 2.5 weeks or so. But that is the way of my life at the moment. I have to commute. I drive 6 hours to work and then spend 5 days away from home. And then it's a 6-hour drive back home. Or I sometimes catch a flight as well. And that only leaves me 3 or 4 days at home to do everything else there. But when I do get a chance, I've got this lovely window this afternoon, granted from my other half, who said, yes, go do your live stream. So we've got a nice 2 or 3 hour window to do this flight over to Nice. Right, anyway, we'll do the checks. So battery on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever is down. We verified we've got the 6 green lights. We can now do all the tests down here. Fault, wheel well fire, and the fire warning switches are all illuminated. Looking good. Back onto the up overhead panel. Put the fasten seatbelt sign on. We'll start off the loading soon. We'll set the chocks as well, and we'll also start the flight leg too. So we'll just get the ball rolling there. Working our way back down onto the pedestal, we can do the cargo fire test shortly. Just do the squibs. I don't even know if I did that already. Here we go. There's the cargo fire test. It's been a while since I've done a setup now. I'm in the left-hand seat captain. Generally, the first officer does the first sector at the airline I work for, so it's been ages since I've done a preliminary flight deck inspection. Certainly not in the real aircraft for quite a while. Wacko Warner, thank you to the other half. Absolutely. If it wasn't for her, she's very supportive of my channel, so she does give me some time to check all these things and do some streams with you guys. Right, emergency escape rope we'd pull out and test. Up onto the upper overhead panel now. Stall warning test. And then the MAC airspeed warning test. Again, that's still delayed in the mod. Yes, for those of you who obviously want to keep up with ZIBO, this version we're here is a pre-release version. It'll be released after the stream. It's version 3. Let me get this right. 334 RC14. Some subtle changes to the flight model and some changes. The main thing as well is that you can have the when you pull onto gate, you automatically get ground power, which is pretty cool, just like you would in if you have a gate elsewhere. Right, 7 minutes here. Now, something else we'd probably do if you're in Corfu right now, it would be absolutely roasting in the cabin. So you get the APU started as soon as possible to provide conditioned air to the cabin. We've got welcome to the 737 Flight Decker for a membership there. Thank you very much for the dedicated support and your membership. Welcome to the channel. I'll catch up with you later on Discord. Right, so the APU's up and running shortly. That will provide nice, cool, conditioned air. And in fact, I think if you look here... Oh no, it doesn't update at all, but this would be something off the scale. If you just came into the 737 sat in the sun like this, you'd be absolutely roasting. It would be absolutely roasting in the cabin and flight deck. Right, so... let's get on to the next part of the setup. So, Abitab... charts. This is all stuff I like to get ready prior to the stream. I just did not have time today. Well, I did, but it just crashed so much. It's so annoying. Right, so here's the flight plan from SimBrief. We need a minimum of 7.9 tons of fuel. Now, the approach we're going to fly into Nice in about an hour and a half, couple of hours time is quite complex. It's runway 22, and I've flown it quite a few times, and it's quite easy to destabilize yourself in the sim because you can't see the flipping runway. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of extra fuel just to allow for go around. So we'll take an extra 800 kilos or a ton, which is about 20 minutes. So what we'll do, we'll call it 8.8 tons, and the zero fuel weight is 59.3. So we'll get that sorted now in the mod. Oop, it's a little bit fiddly today. Fuel weight, fuel 8.8. And the zero fuel, I worked out the payload earlier, it's 59.3, so we need a payload of 17.9. And that, chaps, represents 168 passengers, a little bit of cargo. So that's what we have loaded into the mod. Right, so we've got the flight plan ready. Let's get all the charts out as well. Airport, we're in Corfu, Lima Golf Kilo Romeo. And airport, only the one chart for the aerodrome. And the SID we're going to be flying today off runway... Well, they've changed it now. I think it's runway... is it 16? I can't even remember now. I haven't even looked at it. Yeah, it's runway 16. It was 15, but I think they changed it because of the magnetic variation. 77 Flight Decker, how do you join the Discord? Now you're a member, it automatically syncs you. So you log into your Discord, and as a member, you get automatically invited. You find the guidance there. Aviation Daniel coming in with 20 Norwegian kroner. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Captain. How are you doing? I'm doing just fine. Beginning to relax now. The stream was delayed by half an hour. I'm just about to throw the PC out the window. It's the first time I turned it on for about a week and a half. It's just playing up, which is a real pain. Right, the SID we're expected to fly today is the Tigra 2 Delta. Now we do have a slight tailwind for departure, but it's the preferable runway for departure is runway 16, just because of the position of it. And so long as the performance is satisfactory, you can take off. It's quite a cool SID, but we'll brief that later. I just wanted to get the charts open. Right, anyway, AP's been running for a while. Pop that on the bus, and you pop the bleed on, and the air conditioning pucks on auto. And what you do, you'd turn these all the way right down here to cool the cabin down, because it would be absolutely scored show. Yeah, for some reason, I thought these were working, but it looks like the temperature's stuck a bit there. Now I've put some bleed on, maybe it will cool down a little bit there, but yeah, it's nice 18 degrees Celsius apparently now. That would be very refreshing. Perfect, so we'll select terrain, we'll select airport. Let's just get the latest weather in Corfu. 32 degrees still, it's just the QNH one to get straight. 1011. Yeah, 32 degrees, a little bit beyond what I feel comfortable, but some people do like it as hot as that. Oh no, it's MFRA 1011. MFRA we could set anyway. It's going to be something like 1,000 feet of aerodrome elevation. I sometimes set this up during streams, but there's an emergency turn procedure here due to terrain, so it's quite important to have the MFRA set. Excellent, so that is all good. Now let's jump into the FMC. Now the beauty of this now is I can show you here. If I do... Oh, actually, hold on. I'm still getting used to all my key bindings. Let's get rid of that for a second. Now why is that not... Oh, it's annoying when you do that. When you've got something open, I press the numbers on my... Yeah, look, and it won't... all my views are saved to numbers, so I need to close that, and it should now... There we go, now pan. Right, so we'll get the OFP up, back into the FMC view, and then we can pop this up here so you can see what I'm typing. So this is the flight plan from SimBrief. Everything's set up here, ready to go. Broadsword 01. There's our cruise time, 0 fuel weight and weights. Cruising at flight level 360. And here is the routing information. Quite a lot of stuff to punch in, unfortunately, today. So here's all the latest AirAC from Navigraph. It's the same one every other aircraft in Europe and the world has on board as well, which is pretty cool. We're in Corfu, which is Lima Golf Kilo Romeo. Our coordinates, we'll just stick in GPS left there. And we're going to Nice, not Marseille. Nice, Lima Foxtrot Mike November. And we are the call sign of Broadsword 01. Right, departure then. Runway 16, as I said, the SID's going to be a Tigra 2 Delta, which is set there. And we can now punch all the routing in, quite long-winded. So yeah, I mean, you guys can copy and paste the route in. There's lots of different ways of loading it in. You can save the flight plan. But as I've mentioned every time, at the airline I work for, you have to put it in manually, each sector. Now, one thing that isn't featured on the ZIBO mod, it's not featured in the PMDG or other 737 add-ons that I know of, is something called Route 2. So it means that on the first sector, you have the ability to load the routing into the FMC for the next sector, which just saves yourself a little bit of time if you have a tight turnaround. So next time, I'm flying 5 days next week, so if I get a chance, I might feature on my Instagram the Route 2 feature on a little video, so you can see that there. As well, I've got some other things I wanted to share, some technical stuff as well, which I will do at some point next week to keep the content rolling. Cool, upper mic 616 then to Acuti. We're probably over the middle of Italy at this point, the routing, but we'll go into more detail on that in a second. Romeo 16 to Kerrit, which is the arrival into Nice. There we go. Right, departure arrivals. Now, it doesn't. I don't think it's correctly coded in the FMC, so it doesn't fit. But we're expecting later. It is VOR Bravo for 04 right, which I think is what that's trying to say. But it is that one there, and we want a Neras transition. And the star, as I said, it's going to be the Kerrit 6 Romeo. It's an awesome approach, guys, but very difficult in a desktop simulator, which you'll see later on how to do. Right, so that's all the routing information. I'll activate it and execute it. Make sure there's no discontinuities, which looks good. Right, let's punch all this in. 0 fuel weight is 59.3. The sum of final reserves and your alternate is the reserve figure you want to put into the FMC. On our Lido flight plans, it calculates it for you. So a little bit of maths, 2728. We'll put 2.9. That's the amount of fuel we need to divert to our alternate and land with 30 minutes of fuel. Cost index, we'll use 30. Cruising at 360. There we go, execute. And next page to 360 for the top climb wind. 315 at 22. There we go. ISO deviation is +3. Temperature, Scorchio 32 degrees Celsius. Now I've already calculated the performance, and it is basically full 26k, guys, full power. That's all we can get from the aircraft, okay? Well, you can get a bit more if you do something called a no-engine bleed takeoff, but it wasn't required. And this should just be about satisfactory for the performance for Runway 16 with the slight tailwind I've calculated from the OPT. Now, I can now go to the takeoff page, flat 5 for departure. V-speeds are set as well. Now, something that's a bit weird in the mod is executing the performance, which I've always had issues in the last few streams. So if I go to index performance, looks like I've already executed it, so it looks fine. And then we just need to put the V2 in the MCP, which is 150 knots. There we go, so that's all the performance complete. Sorry, I've not been looking at the questions popping up on the left-hand side here. I'll pop through now. It's got someone from China, I think. In reality, are you able to load Route 2 whilst in flight? Yes, you can, accidentally. If you activate it and then execute it, it'll put the Route 2 in whilst in flight, which is a bit of a pain. So you don't want to have to do that. You don't activate it. You wait until you're on the ground to activate Route 2. It's a bit of a pain. Kim, what saves me the most time is not entering waypoints, just airways. That is something that someone else mentioned too. But we put each waypoint and airway in individually where we work. I don't think it's loaded into our FMCs. Right, so that is the FMC loaded. Pop ourselves up onto the up overhead panel. Yeah, the temperatures are all pretty stable, but that's probably because I've turned it right down. It would be giving about that temperature. So nice and cool in the cabin. Right, your damper's on. Nav transfer display switches normal auto. Fuel, we want 6 pumps on. I've got a donation coming in. Thank you very much. £1 through Super Chat. I can't read that, I'm afraid, but thank you very much for the tip of donation. It was probably you that donated last time. Thank you nonetheless. AC/DC metering panel set. That's all looking good. Seatbelt signs on. We test all these buttons too. Window heat, despite it being 32 degrees Celsius, we still put it on at this stage. Electric hydraulic pumps are on. We make sure the diff pressure reads 0 and the cabin altitude represents your elevation. Trim air's on. We set the temperatures right down here. 360 is the cruise level. And sea level at Nice, so we leave that set to 0. Vista steady. And now we can go into the MCP. Right, now let's have a look at our SID. So, Avitab, airports, and here it is. Perfect. So I think if I do it this way, it's a little bit easier for you to read it, I think. Probably not, actually. Why is that not letting me expand it? Oh, screw that. I'm just going to go basically here. It's easier and more realistic, to be fair.
Sorry, we don't have any service trucks here.
Oh, okay. I don't know who that was speaking to me, but there's no service trucks apparently. Anyway, this is the departure. It's pretty cool. Tigra 2 Delta. MSA, a lot of high terrain around Corfu, especially to the northeast. You need to be very cautious, even to the southwest, 4,500 feet. And our departure off of runway 16, we're going to climb straight ahead to 500 feet and then make a left turn. But just before I talk anymore, I'll get back to the donation. 737 flight decker and Woody seal binder coming in simultaneously with tips and donation. Thank you very much. I just had to cancel a real life solo flight due to wind, so here's a small amount of money I would have spent burning 100LL. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you get yourself airborne as soon as possible. Thanks for the tip there. And the 737 flight decker, who's only just become a member, coming in with £2 as well. Where's the best place to do your PPL? Well, it depends where you are locally. You need to look around, see who's your local flight training school, and they'll give you the best advice. But thank you nonetheless for your tip and donations there, and to help out with the content. Right, so as I said, we're going to climb straight ahead to 500 feet. We'll use LNAV, then we make a left turn all the way around, max 102.10 knots, banking at 15 degrees until we're inbound to the Gorizia VOR 108.8. So we'll put in 108.8 in the pedestal. I don't know if it sounds like I've had quite a bad cold. I was actually off ill one day last week, but I'm fully recovered. My ears, it's the important thing, guys. If you ever have a cold, even as a passenger, just don't fly. It's not worth it. So I had a blocked ear, called in sick, and I've just about recovered from it. But you might hear, I sound a little bit croaky. But if I sneeze or something, I can only apologise. Right, anyway, as I said, we're going to make a left turn back inbound to the Gorizia VOR, and then we go outbound on the Tigra 2 Delta 249 until 10 miles. So we want to put 249 as the course, which will pop here. We'll put that side as well. Then after 249, it's 10 miles from the VOR, and it's a 12 DME arc until we go outbound on this radial, which is quite hard to see on the chart. 303, there we go. Navtech charts are very different to ours. So we'll pop on 303 on the courses. So we've got something to follow if the FMC fails there. Right, flight directors can come on. We're not on VATSIM, there's no stop altitude, so we'll go straight up to our cruise level, which is 360. The runway QDM is 168. 168, so it should be runway 17 really with that, but it's still runway 16 there. Ah yes, lots of commenting coming about the new Microsoft Flight Sim. Now that does look exciting. You know, I think as the flight sim community, me included, we get quite excited with all the hype. Let's hope it's not like Microsoft Flight, or they don't try and monetize it and ruin it. But it's great to see that the platform's coming back. Definitely we'll stream in it as soon as it comes out. We'll have some fun flights and some aircraft there. Cool, so the MCP's all set. Order brake to RTO. Reset this, even though it says nothing. FMC's all loaded. Nav aids are set for departure. Looking good. Right, APU's on the bus, and we've got the bleed on. So we can disconnect the GPU, which is here, and we'll remove the chocks as well. And we're pretty much all good to go. I told you about the SID, but I didn't actually show you where we're parked and where the taxi is. So here we go. We're on stand 5, just here. There is a tug in front of us. We're going to ignore that fact and basically just go straight ahead and make a kind of a turn here. We'll probably make a right turn, then back on this taxiway here, and then taxi up to the hold point Alpha 1 and just blast off for runway 16. Martin, check your TAT. Oh, guys, I don't have live weather on. That's because I reset my whole PC. Very, very good, guys. Hold on, let me just start up Active Sky. That's why, because when I prepare a stream, guys, it takes me a good 2 or 3 hours to get all the flight plans printed, all the apps open, because I reset my PC. A lot of things are missing there, so I'll just get Active Sky 50, open. 40, 30. George W, you went to the effort of tipping and donating to tell me that real weather's not turned on. Brilliant, thank you very much. ICAS says 15 degrees. Right, so that's now on. I'll just select flight plan. Oh, that looks like it's working now. And I'll just say we're going Lima Golf, Kilo Romeo, Lima Foxtrot, Mike November, cruise altitude 36,000 feet. This stream today is falling apart, guys. I've made so many little mistakes. I just think something else is going to happen, because usually when this sort of stuff does go on, loads of different things happen. Right, anyway, active skies looks like it's updated. There we go, 32 degrees Celsius. Let's see if the temperature's updated here. Probably slowly creeping up now. Anyway, far more realistic to have the correct weather. Robert Van Lop, max back angle is 15 degrees. You're quite right, but we don't actually fiddle with this. We'll leave it at 25, just to allow us to accelerate normally. The FMC and LNAV should limit the turn to 15 degrees anyway. Whether that will do in the mob, I have absolutely no idea. George, oh my god, I said that so many times, and then just as I spend my money telling me someone else's message, well, you've got the compliment and you can see yourself on the bottom left hand corner for a short while. Thank you anyway. Cool, right, turn these lights up. I think we're all pretty much good to go. So I hope you're happy. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention. Oh, Flip, there's an emergency turn procedure on here. So yeah, if the engine fails prior to V1 and prior to 500 feet, we have to do something on the departure, which I'll explain in a second. Evan Westcott, thank you very much, $1.99. Might want to cross your FMC V2 and MCP speed. If I set it wrong, 150. No, it's all good, buddy. 150, we set V2 here, so 150 is the speed we'd like to fly in the event of an engine failure and performing an emergency turn, because it's going to give you your best kind of climb gradient there. So yeah, that's set absolutely fine, but no bother. Thanks for highlighting it. Yeah, there is an emergency turn procedure, so if the engine goes bang, this is company specific, but we're going to go straight ahead until we're 1 DME from Golf Alpha Romeo. Now, why is that not identified here? It should be close enough for that to identify. I've got the right frequency set, 108.8. No, I didn't put it active. I am all over the place today, guys. There we go, 108.8. When we get 1 DME here, we're going to make a left turn towards the Kokira VOR, which is just over here, and then we'll climb to the MSA. It's 4,000 feet. Pilot Andre, Captain, I hope you're not this sloppy in the real flight deck. Indeed, but I don't have lots of different issues prior to departure there. So yeah, that's all set there. We've got the Kokira VOR, we'll put that on standby, which is 14.7. So yeah, all we do is in the event of an engine failure, we'll go 1 mile straight ahead, and then we'll route direct to the Kokira VOR, which if I put active on the FO side, 14.7, well, why is that not coming up? Probably because it's just outside of range on the ground here, but you should see it pop up after, once we're airborne anyway. Right, so that's it. That's the aerodrome information briefed. We've got the SID briefed. We've discussed the emergency procedures. We've discussed everything else. QNH is set. I've probably forgotten several other things. We'll only find out once we get going. Right, anyway, let's have a look outside. I'll show you where we are. Yeah, it's beautiful, the scenery here, as I said, from Fly Tampa scenery. And we're going to push, well, no, we're going to ignore the taxi right over the top of it, out via stand 5. Bit of a threat here is that you can actually technically enter the active runway if you cross this, so that you would need a follow me car or some sort of guidance, but we're going to ignore that in the sim. And then taxi all the way back here, and we'll use Alpha full length departure for runway 16. You can see it's still painted 17 on the runway. They need to update that scenery from Fly Tampa. Excellent. Performance was calculated prior to activating weather at 15 degrees. Well, that is true actually, but it should have based it off the fact it's 32 degrees anyway, and I put 32 in the FMC, so it shouldn't be an issue. Right, so we're all good and ready to go. So air conditioning packs can go off, anti-collision light on, parking brake we verify is set, and then a transponder out off, and let's get engine number 2 started. There we go. Perfect. So what's the time now? Was meant to have started streaming at 3 o'clock, so an hour ago. We'll only be streaming here for half an hour. Thomas Nias, why do you set the course? The course is just a raw data backup to follow radials on a VOR in case we lose the FMC. Perfect. Right, 25%. Put some fuel into the aircraft. There we go. Good. Yeah, it's just off VATSIM at the moment, chaps, as well, just because of that. I didn't want any issues on the departure. I would have had a laugh otherwise, but we're having so many issues at the start of the stream. I just had to log off when that guy popped up. Right, engine number 2 looks good. Starter cutout 2, 4, 6, 3. Number 2 is stable. Starting engine number 1. There's the N2 rotation. Perfect. There's oil pressure and N1. And we're at 25% N2. That's the time when you want to start entering the fuel. There we go. N1 EGT starts accelerating. And we'll do all that there. Lots of comments coming regarding trim. In the mod, I've got the Boeing OPT calculator to work out the trim, but I seldom use it here. I mean, I just... in a joystick and the configuration, it's absolutely fine.
50, 40, 30.
That's it. Starter cut out. Smaller engine number 1 is stable. Looking good. The flight deck are coming in with another tip of donation, £2. I can't seem to connect to the Discord. Help, please. Now, yeah, what you have to do, if you search Google, and I'll find a link for you later if you still can't connect, search for Discord, YouTube membership, synchronization. That will tell you the guidance on how to join the Discord. It is only available for members. There's no members or invite links created any other way there. Right, so now the engines are all stable, we can do the before taxi flow. So generators on, APU off, start switch is continuous, probead on. In reality, I would have put the air conditioning packs in auto and isolation valve auto a lot quicker because it would be getting very hot in the cabin right now. So that's all set. And flaps for departure is going to be flap 5, and the flight controls, full forward, full back, left centre, right centre, and now the rudders. Full. Now here's the next problem. Now my rudders aren't working. I told you. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Right, hold on. I can't believe this is happening. Right, how do I change this in the ZIBO mod? I haven't had to do this for a while. Hardware. Throttle, yoke. What? Why? I don't understand. It was working this morning. And literally, ever since I've just started streaming, everything's just stopped working. Like, everything. Like, no, I need the rudder. Won't be able to get very far without it. Nozzle axis is set to yaw. That's what I want it to. Yaw is on. It looks like the power light's off, so for some reason that has either disconnected from the PC or some issue here. So I'm just going to disconnect now the rudder pedal from my computer and plug it back in again. Unbelievable. You don't have to do this sort of stuff in reality, chaps. Right, plugging it back in, and the power light's not coming on my rudder pedals. Oh dear, what has happened? Right, give me 2 secs, guys. I'm just going to have a look and see if we can fix it. Evan, try and plug it in. I've just done that, but for some reason the power light's not going on. Give me 2 seconds, guys. We'll see if we can get going. If not, I'll have to activate the joystick rudder, which could be interesting. Give me 2 secs, guys. Thanks. Way, they're working. I've absolutely no idea. Like with most things in life, you plug it in, plug it out. I blew in the thing like I used to do with my old PlayStation controller when I was a kid. And look, we have rudder pedals. My goodness! Now we're making a list of all these things that are going wrong, guys, because something's going to probably happen again. This happens at work as well. Honestly, at work, when you're at fly, if one thing's go wrong, everything goes wrong. It's always the same thing at once. Anyway, rudders are working. recall checked. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make our way to Corfu. So parking brake release, pop on the taxi and turn off light. And please do ignore the fact I am going to taxi straight through a tug versus some generic scenery. And knowing my luck, it'll generate a crash or something when it hits this. So we'll do the config check. No takeoff config warning. Hopefully. Well, I'll jam it around anyway, see if we can miss him. Oh, look at that. Might actually be able to get away with not hitting it at all. Excellent. Right, so when you're doing a tight turn like this, you don't really want any thrust on the inboard engine, because it does only work against you. We'll set this to about 37%. There we go. Probably wouldn't risk taxiing like that in reality, because you don't want anything sucked into the engine. And you should be following the taxi line, but that's absolutely fine. Did I say something else? You mean to Nice? Did I say Marseille or something? My goodness, I'm all over the place today. Maybe it's a good job I'm not flying. There we go, onto the parallel taxiway. Good. Yeah, this scenery is really quite stunning from Flight Tampa. It looks really good. I was thinking of a destination. Well, Nice was suggested by one of the members on Discord, which is quite good because I'd never flown into it. And it's really nice to be able to fly from this scenery as well. It's a really cool airport as well. Perfect, so now we are on our way to the holding point. We could do the before takeoff checklist. So config we've checked, flaps we have 5 green lights, stab trim set for departure. For the mod, that's absolutely fine here, about 4.9 units set. And included in the checklist instructions, we'll get away with 2 donations there from Boeing 737, thank you very much. £1.78 and £2.68. I missed both your first donation, thank you very much. Thanks for your video. Well, you're most welcome. I hope you find them beneficial. Cool, so takeoff briefing, we have got the packs in auto, bleeds are on for departure, the V-speeds are 39, 41, 50 set, and we are flying the Tigra 2 Delta. Remember, we're going to climb straight ahead to 500 feet, make a left turn to go back overhead the Goritza VOR, and then outbound 249 radial until 10 DME, and then we fly the 12 DME ARG to intercept the 303 radial outbound from Tigra. Stop level is flight level 360. There is an emergency turn procedure, so if the engine does go pop after V1, we'll rotate, climb straight ahead 1 mile, make a left turn to the Kira VOR to enter the hold at 4,000 feet. That is reviewed. Imagine the cabin is secure, and the before takeoff check is complete. I've got David Blancard, who happens to be a member, also donating as well. $10, continuing the new PC fund, thanks for your time. Well, thank you very much. It seems like I'm going to have to replace everything, because today, why the microphone stopped working, no idea. And then the rudder pedals, I mean, they live plugged into the computer, so I've no idea why this stuff has just stopped working just today. I have no idea. I've not touched anything. But thank you very much, David. Most unnecessary, but thank you. Right, anyway, approaching holding point Alpha runway 17. Just want to get an update on the wind here in Corfu. Make sure... Oh, it's 2203 knots, that's it. We've got an extreme caution index for the heat for departure as well, but that's something we can cater for today. Right, well, imagine we've got our takeoff clearance. It's light and variable wind, so lights can come on. Water throttle, LNAV. This goes to TARA, strobe lights on as well. Oh my goodness, guys, you guys are going crazy with the tips and donations today. The 737 flight again, £1. I don't know what to say, thank you again. All these little tips and donations are most unnecessary, but thank you very much. Right, so confirm Alpha clear takeoff 17. We are clear left, clear right.
Approaching.
That's it. Weather radar. I knew I'd forgotten something. So MCP is set. We'll put the terrain on the FO's display. Transponder TARA. Strobe lights are on. Landing lights are on. We are cleared takeoff runway 17. UK Bay 41. I got you there. There we go. Oh look, I remember there's someone on the runway. I can remember. Can you remember, chaps? This airport here is what I did my full cold and dark setup tutorial on, in Corfu, and with that crazy tug driver was the one who's always crossing the runway there. Oh, look at that lineup. That is beautiful. So yeah, this is something. I mean, I look like I've lined up pretty much square there, but the runway QDM on the chart doesn't quite match the track we have here. If you look at, oh, it says 165. Interesting. On my charts from work, it says 168's the runway QDM, so slight difference there. Anyway, so hope you're happy with the departure and everything's understood. Let's get on our way to Nice before I run out of time today. So let's start the timer. 40% N1. Remember, this is full power takeoff, 99.9% N1 with the bleeds and packs in on and auto. Right, stabilise, push toga, set takeoff thrust. There we go. Takeoff thrust set indications are normal. A little bit of left rudder I'm using here to maintain centre line.
80 knots.
Check. Let's hope the rudder doesn't just pack in. Wait on the takeoff roll. Hand off the thrust lever, rotate, nice smooth rotation, up to 50 degrees, keep those wings level, not like I did, and gear up with the positive rates. And trim. Oh, where's the left turn gone there? Oh, ZIBO's broken. It's telling me to go right, so what we'll do, we'll start the left turn manually at 15 degrees. Oopsie.
1,000.
That's about 15 degrees. 1,000 feet, we'd bug up, so I'm actually just going to go heading select here, crank that heading round to the right, and we will now sit 15 degrees. And we're just going to follow the flight directives as well. So yeah, ZIBO will fix that within 5 minutes. He looks at particular departures and see why it doesn't work there. I'll catch up with the membership there. Thank you very much if it was in a second. In fact, what I'll do, I'll get the autopilot in now, Command A, and we can bug up. So yeah, it's a little bit broken, but we'll continue that turn manually. You can see what we're doing. Oh, where are we on here? Oh, and now we're not appearing on the charts either. But you've got the idea of what we're doing, I think. Doing this left turn inbound to the VOR. So, flap 1. It's Chinaski coming in with a membership. Thank you very much, my friend. Welcome to the channel. And flaps up. There we go. Fantastic. So you get the idea, we're going to continue this turn round until we're outbound from the Corsica VOR. In fact, max 210 knots for the turn. I should have flap 1 out still, really. And not be doing 214, but you can just about get away with that. Yeah, I don't know. It says 15 degrees, but we're going to definitely overshoot. I think it's just for the initial part of the turn, so I'm going to crank that back up to 25. Just keep that heading bug going around. Oh, it's already turning around here. And then when we get back over Corsica, I'm just going to route direct to this 10 DME point here because it's not working there. Maddox, yes, not much has gone right for you today. You've got a gremlin in your PC as well. Excellent. Paul F, good job. This wasn't your 3-month line check. Absolutely. Oh dear. Right, flaps up, no lights. So just going to keep the speed at 214, set standard. Passing 58 flight level 360 after takeoff, check this. So we're just going to keep that turn going around in heading select, so we are actually flying the SID properly, just to make sure we get right over the Corsica VOR. So, auto brake off, start switches to auto. We pop the taxi light off as well to remind us we're not clear to land if we have to get down quite quickly. Air conditioning and pressurisation then up onto the up overhead panel. We'll start slowly warming it up, otherwise the room will start freezing. That, something like that. So air conditioning and pressurisation, diff pressure's 3.5, and the rest is set. Release the cabin crew. Flight deck to sim passengers are very stressed and annoyed because they had such a delay to their departure today. So we'll let them stretch their legs very shortly. There we go, right over the top of the Corsica VOR then. No idea why this isn't displaying the aircraft. It was on here. It is on this, so it probably doesn't suit probably doesn't work on this particular chart, but you got the idea. And then once you go overhead the beacon, it'll be outbound 249. There we go. So I can build it manually. I can put GAR. Why is that not coming up? I'm just gonna do it in heading select, and then once we're over the head, we'll use heading manually. Right, we can select VNAV as well. There we go, right over the top of Corfu. Hopefully, just bug ourselves back onto the magenta line manually, and then we'll update it and then re-engage LNAV. Right, we can do the pre-cruise checks as we're approaching our passing flight level 100, so passing 103.360. Pre-cruise checks coming up, so 6 pumps on, lights, off, APU is off, pressurization 4.9, and the rest is all set. We'll release the passengers, recall, pre-cruise checks complete. Right, let's just update this one time. Execute, LNAV, there we go. So we're now pretty much correctly on the correct departure. So we should be on 249 radial, 249. If I go to VOR, yeah, a little bit off to the left of the radial, but you can see as the aircraft flies right, this beacon will start coming in to represent the fact we're on the correct radial set on the course. It's all looking good. Oh my goodness, what a busy day so far, chaps. I can't believe it. Oh, I have a list of all the things that have gone wrong. Paul Rain, please go back on Vatson. There's a whole fleet en route with you. Well, we'll log on shortly. I'll probably get up to the cruise level first before I have before we go and log on to any issues. Now it looks like the new overlay from Project Fly is working. You can see my call time, my route, altitude, heading, speed, distance, and right at the top here you've got your progress bar, so you can see as a percentage how long it's going to take till we get there. Now it says that ETA 1705 Zulu, seems a bit late. 1643, it's going to be a lot quicker. I don't know why that is, but it's probably based on some full arrival of some sort. Nylon, nothing works today, so you know what your landing will be like. Yeah, probably awful. As this is probably, actually, I have to admit, and I'm not doing this to make it look like I'm going to struggle later, but this approach, I'm going to be flying into Nice, runway 22. It's kind of a visual manoeuvre from a VOR approach. It is so difficult on a sim because you can't look out the window to see the pappies. It's very steep, it's 3.5 degrees. You have to hand fly whilst manipulating the MCP. It is to do it correctly, it is almost impossible. So you're going to see things which you probably wouldn't quite represent what we're doing in reality, but I will point as much out as possible. It is doable, but it is very much hard work. We'll see how we get on. I'm just lining up all the excuses, you know, prior to getting to Nice. I sure need them today. There we go. Oh, so cutting the corner again slightly. So we're on this 12 DME arc. So overshot it slightly, so we should have 12 here, not 13. It's a little bit late there, so it's doing a bit of a lazy arc. Yeah, let's chop that off there as well. There's no maximum speed for this part of the procedure. But we're just essentially going to intercept now the 303 outbound to Tigra, which it should do shortly. Maka04, you're a real airline pilot. How do I set up a rising runway on instrument landing in a 737? So I guess you're asking, how do you land on a runway that's upslope? The technique isn't really different. You can catch you out. Manchester, for example, just popping the center fuel pumps off here. Manchester, I think it's runway 23 or 24, whatever they've changed it to now. That has quite an infamous hump on, which is quite a challenge to land on correctly. But you don't really change your technique so much. You still use that check, close, hold. So essentially what the mod's done here is just cut the corner. So we're kind of doing this. If you look here on the chart, we're like, it's not quite on the 12 DME arc, but it's half-heartedly working there. But again, ZIBO is an incredible software programmer, or whatever you want to call it. He'll fix these things in no time at all. But I'm just glad to get out of there and airborne and on our way. Oh dear. Master caution fuel, Kieran. Yep, very good. I did just about spot that. So someone says there's a bit of an entourage going to Nice from Corfu. We'll have a look online very shortly. Paul Waring coming in with a very generous £10 donation. Thank you. Great work, learning loads from you. Well, thank you very much for your tip and donation there. I'm glad you can get something from my content and improve your simming experience. Appreciate that. Thank you. Miguel S, worst DME arc ever. Yeah, a little bit of a lazy DME arc. Ah, jump and run. I think he's talking about the PFD option for rising runway. I mean, the rising runway, we're not really using that. If you're doing a Cat 3 auto land, it gives pilot flying a bit of situational awareness of the closure rate of the runway, but it's not, I don't know, it's not really practically used in any way. I don't think that's featured in the mod, is it? Like I said, I'm not really paying attention to it. But that is an issue. Brandon Posmer, Eurocontrol is on for your information. Oh, is there some ATC? Oh yes, look, I can see, flipping heck, there's a whole area for ATC there. just going to refresh myself. We'll try logging back on then. Oh my goodness me, there is quite a few aircraft going to Nice from Corfu. Flipping heck. Wow, wasn't expecting that. I can't see myself though. Just refreshing the VATSIM. Well, we might try log on then. Aviation. I'm just loading the map up on my phone. If I can find it. Fantastic. Oh, now my phone's crashed. I'm not. Something's wrong with me today. Am I cursed? Like everything I touch is breaking. My phone's just reset itself. My goodness. Right. Anyway, as I said, we'll try going on VATSIM anyway. See how we get on. Wacko Warner, learning how everything could go quickly, could go wrong quickly. Absolutely. Right. Let's see. VATSIM then. So, plugins. I filed the flight plan, so it should all work. Connect. Should get some frequencies pop up here. We've got LIRR North Centre. No doubt they'll ping me for the frequency anytime here. Frequency is 135550. Thank you very much. Touch of death, you've been life hacked. Absolutely. So this controller here, is he just covering a huge area of airspace then? Oh, he's got the upper information area, AC for all of these airports.
The controller,
I can hear something.
050, good evening. Flight level.
There we go.
10.
Hans Pedersen, Captain, thank you very much for these amazing videos and streams. I've seen them all. The most important thing I learned from you is your attitude. Extremely professional and pleasant under pressure. That's what you need. That's all it takes. Thank you very much anyway. Oh, Corsica. Thoughts on the Vettel sign incident? Hilarious. Formula 1 fans, what do you reckon? I actually, look, I'm a Silver Arrows fan. I have to be, because I support Hamilton, British, not my favourite driver, I have to support him. But I do feel a bit sorry for Vettel. I mean, yes, he made a mistake, and he was pressured into mistake, which is just classic Vettel. But I don't think he was justified that penalty. He had no control of that car, really. I thought it was very harsh. Very harsh. Your VATSIM scammer's become a hacker now. Yeah, it probably has. He's hacked everything. Pilots, come and join Tower to this airport here. Is that Dubai? Yes, not today, I'm afraid. Rofada Rashad, Captain, what does it mean, the release the pressure from the control column? So I think you're referring to when I'm doing the takeoff roll. When you're at 80 knots, you have forward pressure on the control column just to ensure that you have nose wheel pressure, which improves nose wheel steering. When you get to 80 knots, the rudder's effective, so you don't need to have that forward pressure. So you just release the pressure, neutralise the control column. Right, I heard someone logging into Eurocontrol anyway. Which you just want to say call sign only, because obviously he'll have everyone saying all sorts of information. Simon S&B, I'm a huge Vettel fan. I'm absolutely raging. I can understand. I really. I think it was really harsh. Tom, which one are you landing on? I'm planning on 22 right. Yeah, 22 right there.
Austrian 503 requesting descent, please.
So what do you call this guy? Is it Eurocontrol?
Austrian 503, descent flight level 50.
It's a German. The most efficient of all controllers.
Sending 250, Austrian 503.
Top Swiss 490 from Charlie, same for us, requesting descent.
Joseph Reed, when I was passing 15,000 feet, I had cabin altitude warning even when I set my cruise altitude. Well, you probably had the packs off or the bleeds off.
1228, danke, Top Swiss 490 from Charlie, servus.
Lufthansa 291, leaving airspace as well, monitoring com 123.
Right,
there's 30,000 feet, so we can pop the bank angle to 10 degrees, which I've already done. Get rid of all these charts as well.
Level
So we are
250,
approaching
wings, Niner
East
110.
Italy. Apologies for any Italians watching, I don't know what you call this little area of land that splits out into the sea. But our routing space is going to take us right over the top here, just west of Naples, west of Rome, over Corsica, and then here is Nice, right next to Monaco, so the closest international airport to Monaco there.
Runway 1110, leaving airspace soon, monitoring.
Right, so we'll check in with this guy anyway.
122.8, convoy 1110, thank you for having
50, 40,
Oh, before I check in.
30, 20, 10.
Janie_S donated £1.78, thank you very much. Thank you for all the time and effort you put into your channel. Looking forward to the approach into Nice. Well, thank you very much for the tip and donation there as well. Tom, as ever, donating all my streams. Thank you again. 50 Norwegian kroner. Barbecuing with family, gonna catch the video and you later. Have a nice landing. Butter it. I cannot guarantee a butter today's live stream. It looks pretty daunting, this approach on a flight sim. So we'll see how we get on. But thanks again, Tom. Alright, I'll check in with this guy. Euro Control, good afternoon. Broadsword 01.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
That was northward, Silver One.
AFM Broadsword 01, climbing flight level 360, awesome. Awesome, like my content.
Broadsword
Terrible.
01, squawk 0552.
Squawk 0552, Broadsword 01. There we go.
Alf, we only had a flight with the call sign of Danny Boy.
Kim watched the call sign. Oh god, so honestly, so easy. Ah, perfect. Well, at least for a change, we can enjoy the scenery. Always cloudy usually. Oh look, a private message from someone. Hey all in the stream, have a great day. Well, thank you very much. I'm still forget how to, I stream so infrequently and I don't use VATSIM often. I forget all the controls, all the commands to send messages because it's just like, like I said, I only do this every 2 or 3 weeks. Even then I don't go onto VATSIM every time. Oh dear. Look at the puns. You love the puns, guys. Don't force puns, Captain. Oh dear. James Donlin, hi Captain, can you explain the yellow fuel sticker above the PFD? Now this was fitted to very early generation 737NGs. It was to do with the use of the centre fuel tank. Now I cannot remember exactly off the top of my head, but it was something like if there was 2.3 tonnes or less, you had to put one of the centre pumps on. It's to do with that. I actually mentioned this to ZIBO and Audio Bird XP, some of the other guys. Get rid of this sticker because it's no longer an issue in the NG. You just leave the centre pumps on until the fuel's drained. Right, so the rate of climb, it's just over 1,000 feet per minute, but there's no traffic above us. It's really advisable to leave it in VNAV where possible, because vertical speed, you can lose control of the
Zero
speed.
Control, Ryanair 16 Hotel Mike.
Oh, again, in my office, the temperature right now about 50 million degrees. My PC is like a nuclear reactor. Talk about nuclear reactors. Any of you lot watched Chernobyl? That was an absolutely brilliant series. There's 5 episodes, absolutely fantastic. Recommend it if you haven't watched it.
Thank you,
Ryanair 36 November.
There we go, 360 in one piece. Haggis Plays, do you have Orvo 4XP? Yes, I do, all of Europe.
Ryanair 36 November Papa.
At base level 17.
Lufthansa 674, contact Roma 124.2, over.
There we go. I haven't flown over this part of Italy for a very long time. I'm quite familiar with this airspace around here. Maka04, what is the ADF radio panel? Do pilots use it? That's the automatic direction finder. It's so you can tune and identify and follow an NDB beacon, which is probably the earliest form of radio navigation. It is seldom used these days, but there are still quite a few, I say quite a few, there's still a few NDB approaches where we actually use the FMC in LNAV and VNAV, but we still tune the beacon as kind of like a backup there, raw data. Jet Aviation, which airline do you fly for? Ah, that question, that pops up quite a bit. Anyone that's new to the chat, thank you very much for watching for the first time. But questions regarding my employment aren't directly answered. They do. My operator does know what I do. I asked their permission. They said absolutely fine. And they even said, feel free to mention who you fly for, but I just choose not to, just to avoid people asking hundreds of thousands of questions about the airline I work for, and I don't want to be having to answer them, so I just keep that anonymous.
Requesting further descent.
Steve Mayer's in the house. Boss, made it on time. Good. Thank you very much. I remember you mentioned that you were coming in. David Blancard, I've lost our situation awareness. Can you show the map? So we're just off the east corner of Italy here, heading northwest. We've got Brindisi, Bari up here, but we'll be making a left turn, as you see on the ND, to go right over the middle of Italy. Heading, I think, just towards Naples and then Rome.
Eurowings 9110, approaching level 250.
Eurowings 9110, leaving airspace as well.
Miguel S, can you make a bot answer that question? Lol, yeah, you guys must be sick of me answering that one.
Eurowings
Could do, really.
9110, get help.
Cool. Well, the guy did give me a squawk, but hasn't called identified or anything. Looks like there is some more frequencies there. Yeah, it could be busy in Nice then later, if we're flying the approach into there. Actually, if you guys could do me a favour, because I think I've not flown into Nice ever in my life. I think the favoured runway is 04. And actually, looking at the wind now, it's swung round back east again, 1204 knots. So, you know, I've all set up and prepared for runway 22, but I'll do whatever's in use in real life. 04 left, probably in use now, but when I departed, or just before the stream, they were using 22 right. Now 04 left, there is an ILS approach, but I won't do the ILS because that's boring. And actually, in real life in Nice, they don't want you to do the ILS if it's a really nice day, nice weather and stuff, because it goes over a little bit of land, which is quite noise sensitive. So what they do, you do this VOR approach, which essentially takes you to a 4-mile final on runway 04, which just keeps you away from the terrain and area to the west, which is quite noise sensitive. I'm just looking on the chart because I can't remember what the area is called. Oh yeah, I've only got runway 22 charts out there, but we'll see as we get closer. I think runway 22 will be more fun, but 04 is probably the one that's in use now.
Scandinavian Euro Centre, Scandinavian 1171 with you, level at the flight level.
Bastian, what is flight sim? What is your real name? It's Joe Blogs. We've got a new member coming in. Thank you very much to CMAC. Thank you very much for the membership. Appreciate that. You should be able to be automatically invited into our Discord we run as a members only Discord. So thank you very much for the membership and dedicated support to the channel. Appreciate it.
Squawk 0570.
Meta 1204 landing. Yeah, so they are landing 04 left in Nice. So I'll probably plan for 04 left a little bit later. We'll check again in about, 45, well, half an hour, 45 minutes as we get closer.
North Shuttle 523.
Andrew Joyce outside view. It's very loud. I don't know how to turn. I need to turn the external volume down. But there we go. Scenery looks excellent. See a few little tiles of different colour though, or photo scenery anyway. Mega. Gotta love the sim, guys. Really, incredible what realism you have. It's really good. AV flight level 350. What is the purpose of the course on the MCP? This allows you to essentially just set a radial inbound. So you can go to VOR here, look, and you can select what radial you want to fly into. Now, if you want to learn about VORs and radials, you'll find that information online. It's a way of navigating an aircraft using a radio navigational
Air
aid.
Force 905 Victor, contact Roma radar 124.2
Manuel Espionage, I'm in Nice right now. Winds are expected to be pretty gusty by the time of your arrival. 200 at 10, gusting 20. So that would favour runway 22. But would it change that quickly in Nice? I have absolutely no idea. I mean, right now it says 180 at 10, but there is a tempo between 1500 and 1800 Zulu. So now, in the next 2 hours, for it to go to the south. So yeah, we'll keep going in this direction towards Nice, and then we'll get an update, as I said, as we get a little bit closer. I've got Craig Bates coming in with a £5 tipper donation. Thank you very much there. Don't know why I didn't ping up on the thing, but watching the stream with my girlfriend, she's wondering if you can eat crisps in the cockpit or will it cause havoc. Well, you can eat whatever you like in the flight deck, but ideally try not to make much of a mess and crumbs and everything. But no, I often take a packet of crisps to work. Bizarre question, but thank you very much for the tipper donation. I always take my own lunch to work anyway, it's far enough, yeah. Phoebe AU, can you show us the approach plate again? I don't think I've even shown the approach plates there, but if we do expect runway 22 right, I think they prefer landing on there. Well, firstly we'll put the arrival, which is the Caret 6 Romeo. That's the start, and then we want approach. I actually made a note of the numbers for this. 13-2, couldn't find it quicker this way, and 13 Bravo. Then we want airport as well. There we go. So that's the airport right on the coastline. 22 right we can expect to possibly land on. The arrival's just a normal start, which takes us to a waypoint called Neras, which is initial approach 6. And then what they usually fly here, it's either the RNAV GNSS or the VOR Bravo. You go from Bapdo to this point here, which is the missed approach point. So if you're not visual here, you have to go around and make a left turn. But if you are visual, it's this visual or VPT manoeuvre, which is what you call visual manoeuvring with prescribed tracks. You just basically fly around here visually and then make a left turn following the coastline onto 22 right. But it's really quite tough in a desktop sim because you're having to hand fly this whilst trying to look outside looking for pappies. It's really difficult, really difficult. So I practiced it a few times. I saw myself going like really high and really low there each time there. We've got Clive Reynolds coming in with a membership. Thank you very much for that, and welcome to the channel and for the dedicated support give me. I really appreciate that. And we've got yeah, and as I said, all members are invited automatically to the members only Discord, where you get a bit more of an insight what I'm up to on a day-to-day basis. Got a great little group of guys now, all that share the same passion. I share my kind of flights as well, so you can see where I'm going, so you can follow too. But yeah, thank you very much. CMAC, is the VPT same as a circling approach? Yeah, it's sort of treated like a circle because it is technically a circle because your final approach track is way outside of the runway QDM. So yeah, it is a sort of visual circle. It's a circle with prescribed tracks, basically. Heggy Plays, is it boring in the cruise when you fly in real life? Not when you start. I'd say these days it is, especially if it's over 3 hours. I get bored. I actually rather do... we do flights to the Canaries from the UK, which is at least 4.5 hours each way, so you've got 9 hours of flying, enough to get you to kind of Chicago from the UK, you can get to a point where it's quite a low workload, looking for things to do and stuff. So I far rather do 4 short sectors, more fun, more exciting, more things to see and do. So yeah, it can be a little, and I hate saying that because I'm in a very, very lucky position to be able to sit there and look out the window and be paid to do it, but it can get a little boring there. Miguel, other day I had to go around. Pilot reported being a bit high due to tailwinds. We were fully configured, flaps gear down around 4 miles on ILS, very long runway. Was it really unavoidable to go around? Well, I don't know if you were working for an airline or this is in a sim or whatever. We have very strict landing gates, so if you don't make the landing gate criteria, so you're fully configured. You don't have 4 whites, 4 reds. You have to go. It's mandatory. So I cannot say, for your example, yes or no. Only you would know if you were close to the limits as well. If you're not sure, if it's looking messy, just default to the safest option. Fire the missed approach, go around, and have another go. As we say, you know, all approaches are flying to a go around. A landing is a bonus. Robert McNair, have you ever encountered software bugs in the real 737? Not really. They're incredibly reliable. VNAV sometimes has a few hiccups, can update issues. I've had an FMC failure as well, only one thankfully. But yeah, like with all things, occasionally they don't work, but nothing that's caused any serious issues or diversions or anything like that, thankfully, touch wood. Manuel, avoid to fly with the city is quite tricky on the last turn to final for 2-2 left. The crosswind situation may be tough to manage. Yes, it says on all the approach charts, don't overfly the coastline if possible. So.
Good afternoon.
This guy's very quiet, actually. I feel like I've missed several calls, but you guys are very good at letting me know if I have missed my call sign.
Sweeper 2557.
So we've actually got another centre next, 124.2. So this is probably Roma Centre. So put that next. There we go. Oops. There we go. Victor RD, do you use Active Sky Explains Textures? Yes, I did download some texture set through Active Sky, I think. Brandon Postman, have you ever had to divert in real life? Absolutely. How many diversions have I done now? 1, 2, 3. I think of 3. So I haven't had the left-hand seat yet, but there's an FO 3 times in 7.5 years, which isn't bad going. And 2 go-arounds, I think. Yeah, definitely at least 2 go-arounds. Flies of Physics, you missed a call. He told you to do a barrel roll to avoid traffic. We've got a joker in the chat. Right, I'm just going to go off my headset for a second, because if I could describe the temperature in my office right now, it is the same as a volcano. Just give me 2 seconds. This is when he's going to cool. There we go. That's better. Honestly, so hot in here.
Scandinavian
So
1171, contact Roma radar 124,
Martin, favourite ATL subject? Meteorology is I quite enjoyed meteorology. That was quite tough, but I hated radio navigation. Air law, that was just boring.
And Bloxburg 01, contact Roma 12, 124,
124.2, broadsword 01. Good afternoon. Perfect, so we've been told to contact Roma. Yeah, radio navigation, air law, hated that, hated all of those. General navigation, I think that was probably my favourite. Roma radar, Buenos Aires, broadsword 01, flight level 360 to Mated.
Broadsword 001 Roma, Buonasera. Identified, proceed as file.
That's cleared to broadsword 01. There we go. Robert McNair, have you ever flown into Jersey and its notorious hump? I haven't. I haven't.
Roma radar, Scandinavian 1171 with you, direct region at flight level 300.
Game Tube HD did this approach onto 2-2 and I displayed the radial on the nav MFD. There's so many different ways of building it. I've got some guidance I found, so we're going to put some fixings in to increase situation awareness and stuff. But it could be 04. Yeah, 1204 knots, but tempo winds they can pick up quite quickly, especially if the airport's on the coastline. Morgan BT, have you ever had a medical emergency on board? The last flight I was on, the guy next to me had a seizure. Ooh. I have not diverted, but I have had to land kind of like with priority, and I actually had that again only a week and a half ago, going into Barcelona. Passenger, well, just after takeoff, a poor old lady, bless her. Her eyes were on the back of the head, and she'd been sick. And thankfully, a doctor was on board because they were questioning whether it was a seizure. So we were getting ready to divert, getting the weather and stuff. And then a doctor said, "Look, we got her on oxygen, feeling a lot better. Advised that should be fine to continue the patient as well." She said she was happy, so we did, and we just got priority landing into Barcelona, which was pretty cool. But yeah, these things happen. If they're obviously deteriorating, we just get on the ground as soon as possible. Mike, have you ever gotten nervous from turbulence in flight? Not in the 7.3. I don't like it, especially heavy or moderate turbulence. It's just unpleasant, you know, and especially if you're at your cruise level, because your margins get reduced and stuff. But aircraft is incredibly agile and strong, so you can easily deal with it. But once I get nervous, certainly when I started flying, it's all new to you.
Good evening,
worried about it.
Sardinia 006 on 2,000 feet for 4,000 feet with Sardinia 006, Roma, very good evening. Radar contact, climb flight level 270.
Clive Reynolds, do you have a pet passport for your lab?
Climb flight level 270.
When flying in the sim. He does have a pet passport, but not one for the sim. He's downstairs at the moment, actually. We took him for a long walk before I started streaming. Perfect. Right, so we've still got about just over top of descent 23, so about 45 minutes until our descent. Wacko Water, how often do you have to divert around weather when in the cruise? Yeah, this time of year more and more frequently, especially at the end of summer. And actually where we're flying to now, near the Alps, usually where it's worse in Europe, around the Alps, northern Italy. Yeah, it's quite often. And actually if it's forecast en route weather to be, you know, quite a few CBs, we just take extra fuel to allow for that. But yeah, only last week I think we diverted around 60 miles around some CBs. Quite common. Don't want to fly for a CB, really. The Everything Gaming, how do you get the Project Fly overlay? I have Project Fly but can't get the overlay working. Well, I think to get the extra bits you have to pay. I've subscribed to it, it's about £5 a month, which allows you to have the additional features. But I don't know, you need to have like your Streamlabs or your streaming software. I can't see it on the screen, but it is on the Streamlabs. Hickey's plays, ridiculous. Daniel Lissimo, good afternoon, Captain. Could you explain to us what the crossover altitude is? I'm not sure what that's referring to, my friend. The 737 flight decker, have you ever had severe turbulence? No, I wouldn't say severe. I mean, severe, you know, if you look at the actual definition of severe turbulence, it's kind of like partial loss of control of the aircraft, difficult to maintain altitude, loss of airspeed. I don't think I've ever had a situation like that. I haven't had a situation like that. I've had moderate turbulence for sure, which is quite uncomfortable, but certainly not severe. Iskander, can you fix my ZIBO 737 that is stuck on the ground? I don't mind to go into a bit more detail. Cool. Right. I was just looking again at this weather. 04 would be easier, but you guys don't want to see easy, you want to see difficult. It does still say 1204 knots. There's no ATC in Nice, I don't think. Cool, look at that. There's a long line of aircraft going there. Whatever I choose to do will be whatever everyone else is doing, but I don't know. There's loads of people there online. Looks like people are using 04 in the sim as well. Yeah, we'll see as we get closer. Martin, Flight Sim, have you ever experienced motion sickness? How do pilots prepare for unusual attitudes in America? Not really ever felt sick from it. When I started flying, you know, just getting used to those new sensations and stuff. And also, you know, if you're in instrument flying, you've got to learn not to, you know, you can trick yourself. Like one of the big parts of human. What did you used to call it in APR? I can't remember. Human. Oh my gosh. What in the world was it called? The human principles or whatever. So you learn all about humans abilities that has like the sensation. I completely gone blind to that. I'll tell you in a second, but I just want to say thanks to the tip donation. Oh my gosh, Brian Kruger, £23.83, so it's going to be some amount of dollars there. Thank you very much, Brian. What is Jack doing? Way back when, who was your very first passenger after you finished your PPL? Also, have any of your family friends been on board your aircraft or piloted in service? Firstly, mega donation. Unbelievable, thank you. Jack's downstairs, sleeping no doubt. I've got my office door shut so he can't come upstairs. My very first passenger was my uncle, who plays a big part of my life. And have my family or friends been on board the aircraft? Yes, I have had some friends on board, I have. But thank you nonetheless, the tip and donation. Schwab, human performance and limitations. You spat it out my mouth for me, thank you. And to who I was answering the question to before regarding that, yeah, one of the things is to learn not to feel your seat at the pants moments, because they can throw you. You know, you might feel you're climbing when you're actually descending, so you've got to learn to trust your instruments there as well. But yeah, Brian, that was unbelievable. You know, as a member, you don't have to go and do things like that. Thank you anyway. Unbelievable. RJ Gaming, could you show me your head shake settings? Yes. How do I do that? I hope this doesn't crash anything. Where is it? Do I even I'm sure I have it installed, don't I? Oh yeah, head shake settings. There you go. Take a screenshot of that, and I think I just fiddled with that and kind of represent what I have and stuff, but I think that works quite well for me. Oh yeah, it said the plugin doesn't work when you have that cinema view on, which I've just turned off there. Oh yeah, it just passed a waypoint called vegan. Yeah, I've heard of that waypoint too in reality. Manual espionage, yeah, I can confirm 04 is in use. I have a nice view of the approach out. So I think, guys, just for pure realism, which is what this channel's all about, we will land 04. It is. I'm not going to be boring. I'm not going to do the ILS anyway. It'll still be kind of like a visual manoeuvre to a 4-mile intercept. So yeah, don't worry, we won't do a boring ILS today. But yeah, just for the sakes of realism, we'll fly the approach there. So I've actually, what I did prior to stream, I printed all the approach charts runway 22, which I'm now going to basically throw in the bin or not use, and I'll get the guidance out for 04 instead. Yeah, 04, and they only really fly the ILS there if the weather's approaching, well, I guess lower and stuff. I mean, I actually observed flight radar yesterday to see what aircraft are doing. Some did seem to be doing the ILS for kind of 10 miles going over land. Other people seem to be doing kind of like the shortcut onto a 4-mile final. So that's it. Matt Robinson, what's the funniest waypoint name you've seen? Oh gosh. This. Oh, right. There's one in Spain. It's called Romeo Bravo Delta, I think, and it's called
Broadsword 001 Roma.
Roma radar, go ahead. Broadsword 01.
Broadsword 001, you can proceed direct Dobim, Delta Oscar Bravo India Mike.
Direct to Dobim, glad to meet you, Ryan. Broadsword 01, I went and did it. I love the chat now. Oh no. Direct to Dobim. There we go. Nice shortcut from the Italian ATC there. I can't wait for this. Brilliant shortcut. What was I saying? I was chatting away about something, wasn't I, before he checked in and gave me that shortcut there. What was that original question? Yes, I think I was talking about 04 there, and the approach there instead of 22 left. But again, I'm unfamiliar with Nice. Look at the chat going alive. Ifran Ahmed, 2 streams today. I'm afraid not. Kim, I did warn you earlier. This is so, honestly so difficult. Yes, funny waypoint, Heggy's Plays. That's what we're talking about. Yes, there's one called Romeo Bravo Delta, and it's pronounced Rubadillo, but you can try and guess what most people say when they try and read back this this waypoint here. Romeo Bravo Delta Rubadillo, there you go. That's a funny one. There's a few others as well. The banter, guys, the banter. I do insist and love it. And bizarrely, you won't believe this either, I was actually flying about 2 weeks ago, and I replied broadsword 01. I went broad, so there you go. It's tough for me. Oh my goodness me. Right, so, as I said, we can start thinking about the approach. So, as I was saying, I was showing all these approaches from runway 22, but I don't think this will be the runway in use when we get there. You know, what is going to be Sod's Law is we'll set up the 04 and it will be runway 22, but that's what we get there. Matt Robson, yeah, brilliant, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, Delta India Kilo decrease, yeah, yeah, that's another one. That's another one. We all of us in this, who's watching and watching this, we all have the same sense of humour. I do enjoy it, I love it. I do love the banter. Right, so Avitan airports. We now want to have the same arrival. So it is the Caret 6 Romeo. And the approach, the first one we want, and I'm just opening the charts on my iPad as well, is initial approach. Where is my guidance here? We need initial approach for VOR Alpha. So VOR Alpha, I think final approach is the one we want. That one. Yep, that's good. And then after that we want the VPT Alpha after the RNAV, no. We want the VPT Alpha after VOR Alpha. There we go. So these are the charts we need for today. There we go. James Donner, only a matter of time. I've actually done it already before, but not as obvious as that one. Or maybe it's just a curveball. Yeah, you didn't even realise that actually work for Wizz Airways. Flight Level 360, did you watch the flight sim trailer? Absolutely. It looks quite exciting and to see what Microsoft have to offer. Probably looking quite arcadey as it will come out for the Xbox later on, I think, as well. But no, I think no doubt it'll be quite a nice sim to see how. Interesting to see how it develops into the future. Right, so I've got all the charts here. I've been practicing runway 22, and obviously they changed the runway. Just getting an update again on the weather, just to make sure it hasn't started swinging round. No, it's still 1204 knots, even though it is forecast to change. Nobody's perfect, Richard. Absolutely, I'm certainly not perfect. I have several flaws. One of them's forgetting to not do what I did. Right. So, as I said, this time on this approach, we're going to fly the Caret arrival, same arrival as before until we get to Neraz. From Neraz, what happens is, I think they usually give you vectors. Excuse me.
Roma, buon pomeriggio.
Excuse me, sorry.
987 with you, flight level 360.
I'm going to get go towards Bisbo. To this point here, Mike Delta 354, which is off VOR Alpha. And from here,
987 Roma, good evening. Squawk 55.
if you're not visual by Mike Delta 354, you have to go around, make a right turn. But we anticipate being visual, so what we'll do after that point,
Let's squawk
which is
552
here,
and ident,
we continue visually
on
on this track of 354, and then we essentially intercept the ILS on, it's basically a 4 mile final there. So yeah, what this does, it avoids all of this area here. So they're trying to avoid making noise. Obviously the full ILS approach goes right over top of the port of Antibes, or however you say that, which they're trying to do is try to avoid noise. So yeah, that's what we're going to do, and we'll start setting up for that very shortly. Actually, I'll put that in the FMC now. So we're going to fly, oh my goodness, VR Alpha. Is that the correct one? Very hard to tell. I think it's going to be that one via whatever the arrival was, Neraz. I think that's correct. There's one way to find out. Neraz Vector. Well, I'm just going to go direct to Bisbo. I want to change this to at or above 3000 to avoid levelling off. There we go. Yeah, that looks pictorially good. Bisbo. Yeah, that's definitely the correct one. And then my Delta 354, and as I said, you'll continue visually towards Nice, which is just there.
Oh,
Cool.
the Mod Charlie.
Mode Charlie.
Radar contact, flight level 360.
There we go.
For the moment, proceed or file.
Actually, I haven't looked outside. Oh no, I know what we haven't done today. We haven't done a cabin view. I haven't actually heard passenger Escobar. I like just walking around like this.
For only 987, please.
So there is the coast of Italy.
Can't
Can't quite see what's going on. Anyway, we'll shut the door to prevent any terrorist atrocities. Right, anyway, we should probably start setting up and talking about this approach. So, let's start putting all the information up in the FMC. So I'll bring up the flight plan again. Avitab charts. There we go. And we'll get the descent winds in. And again, as I said, if you're new to the channel, everything I do here is mirroring exactly what I'd be doing in real life for said operator. So 310, 200, 100 winds are in, and 228 at 56. 100 is going to be, crashing 200 is going to be 240 at 55. And 100, 232 at 30. Excuse me guys, as I said, I've still got this cold, so I'm coughing and splurting away. QNH is going to be 1015. It's very important if you're flying a non-precision approach or using VNAV, you have the QNH set in the FMC. That's really, really important. And we have a temperature of 23 degrees, so that's about 7 degrees warmer than ISA. Here it's -1, so we'll put an ISA deviation of, I don't know, 4 degrees or so. Again, it's just approximate. Oh yeah, it doesn't like that in the mod when you do it like that. Let's try that. Why would it let me put the ISA deviation in? There we go. Executes. Now, one of the things in the mod, which is a bit of a workaround, in the FMC, the real aircraft, if you select arrivals and you select the approach and the runway, you have it display on the ND. Now, for some reason in the mod, it doesn't display, so you can see you've got the airport displayed on the ND there, but you can't see the runway. Now, to work your way around that, all you've got to do is on one of the fixed pages is put the runway direction. So we're landing on 04 left, and watch, as soon as I put this here, you should see the runway. There you go, you get this airport and lines there. Now that does it in the mod, it's based off the fixed page. In the real aircraft it's not, it's based off the selected approach, but it's very important you put that in to get the runway depicted correctly. Now on the next page, this is some guidance from an operator which I'm using, is to put something in there to help your situation awareness. So it says on the fixed page, put CGS, which is the VOR we're using for the approach, and 174/3, and I think this represents, yeah, it's the the track to follow to intercept onto finals, just to increase situational awareness there. We've got a passenger Escobar coming in, £5. I'm here, I'm just not hungry. Very good. Those of you who are new to the ZIBO mod will not be aware that there is passenger Escobar in the rear who frequently has a special meal on request, who I haven't actually heard for quite some time. No, probably stopped flying with Flydeck Sim Airlines based off its reputation and on-time performance. But thank you very much, Passenger Escobar, for making the donation. Perfect. Now looking at the overlay, it says on the progress I'm almost halfway. I'd say we're slightly more than halfway, but I'm not sure why that's saying that. I'll have a look. So that is all the stuff in the FMC we need to set. Now for the approach, here is their arrival. As I said, very straightforward. We're going to fly from Kerit to Kesak to Neraz. That's it. The guidance says here 250 below 100. Some ATC altitude restrictions to comply with, but there's probably no radar going to be there. So that's essentially it. We don't need to go into too much detail here. Now this is the first important chart. This is the VUR alpha to get ourselves into the position for the kind of circle manoeuvre onto 04 left.
We are
So 1092 on that active, which is there.
Go ahead, 426.
And what we're actually going to do is on standby put the ILS frequency 04 left. That way when we intercept on final we've got some guidance off a glide slope there. So we're not going to fly it, but I will get ILS 04 left final approach. Just want the frequency to put on standby. 109.95, there we go. So put that on standby. And actually what we're going to do for the courses is set the QDM for the runway, which is 043. But we're not using the ILS minimums or anything like that, we're basing off the VO alpha approach. So the course is set, we'll actually close that now. But if you actually look at the final approach track here for the VO approach, it's not there, it says refer to the final visual manoeuvring chart here. So the MDA, what we're going to do is from Bispo, we'll descend on the descent path until we get to MD534, which is here in relation to the approach. There is an NDB, but I'm not going to bother tuning it, it's not based off the approach there. And the minimum's 2,000 feet, so we'll set that here.
One Quebec for X-ray, runway 14.
There we go.
006.
And we'll set the QNH in preset QNH in Nice, which is 1015. So as I said, we'll fly intercept from Bispo, the approach, and descend till 5 miles away from CGS, which is the missed approach point. And from there we'll disconnect, hand fly the rest, configure probably gear down for half a day 5 miles, and we just maintain that inbound course towards the VOR until we intercept the ILS to about 4 mile final, and then we'll land on 04 left. So that, in a nutshell, is essentially it. A little bit more straightforward than the approach onto 22 left, which has this kind of arc around the coast. This is all a bit square here, but that's essentially it. Now you've got 2 missed approaches. The first missed approach is if you're not visual here at 354, which is a right turn onto 136 towards Neraz. But if you have a bolt landing from here or have to go around, it's slightly different. We climb straight ahead to 5 miles CGS, then a right turn, and then probably vectors from ATC. So I hope that all makes sense. Airport chart now. Back. Airport. That one there. So landing performance wise, 04 left, it's 2,600 metres, long enough. And ideally we want to vacate by Echo Golf. I think it actually says in the aerodrome information, try to vacate by here. So if possible, go Foxtrot 1, go flat 30 or to break 3, that should work. Or if we miss it, we've got Echo Golf there. And then we'll taxi on to stand from there. The chart will like it, that one probably. And that's all the minimum airport information, which we don't need. Where is it? Parking stands. There we go. There, that's the best one there. So if we can vacate Fox 1 or Golf 1, and then we'll use that to taxi on to stand. And ideally, if we can, we'll taxi on to stand with an air bridge, because we need to test ZIBO's latest update to the mod, which is when you have an air bridge attached, you get GPU power as well, which is just like you would in reality too. So that's it. I hope that all makes sense. Landing performance, as I said, burning a ton from now. Runway 4.5. Landing was 63.8. It's quite heavy actually. Got a little bit of extra fuel too. Flap 30. We use auto brake 3. Idle reverser. Quite noise sensitive in these. And that is essentially it. I hope that all made sense. Paul. And has the wind swung round yet, Nice? Nope, 6 minutes ago, it's still showing light variable easterly wind, so I think it's fair to say we'll land on this runway. And I think even they land in Nice 04 with a slight tailwind component anyway before they'll switch to 22.
Italia 1967, radar contact.
Perfect, and you now read the descent checks, which is pressurization, land altitude set, anti-ice off, approach and briefing fuel we discuss, and all the bugs are set, the VREF set, the minimums are set, and preset the QNH as well. There we go. Now I just need to, on my iPad, is make sure I have all the charts open as well, so I can view them whilst flying the approach. Quite important. So initial approach for VR Alpha, I've selected, and then I need the circling B approach. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Circling A approach for 04 left. There we go, I've got everything set up I needed.
Special fitting frequency, standby 1 minute, control change.
Oh, controller change, there we
1
go.
minute. Bye bye.
Daniel Carley, looks like there's ATC in Nice now.
Bye-bye.
Pretty cool. Well, let's hope they give us the 04. Oh yes, we do. We have Nice Tower. Outstanding. Well, if they do change the runway 22, what we'll do, we'll enter the hold and then set up for 22, which is probably what I'd do in reality as well. So if we'll get closer, go to airport here. On the arrival, if they change the runway, we'll just request hold at Neraz, which is the initial approach fix, straight in 297 right hand turns, and then we'll set up for the approach for runway 22. So that's what we'll do. Cool. How long does this stream go? Hour and a half. I told my hour and a half I'll be done about 5 o'clock. It's 10 past 5. I'm gonna be in so much trouble. Oh dear. Actually, what time is the ETA on here? 54, nearly an hour late. Never mind. Perfect. ZIBO Pilot, how are you, my friend? I did see you message on Facebook regarding the new flight sim. For the next stream, I recommend this new Beirut scenery. Absolutely stunning. I might send you a link later. Awesome. Have a look. Birdman, in Nice you can expect Alpha and the RNAV approach, then VPT landing 04 left, takeoff 04 right, expect departures 6 Alpha. Yeah, I think they do prefer the RNAV arrival. It's exactly, the RNAV Alpha is exactly the same as the VOR Alpha for runway 04. It just goes over the same waypoints and stuff. Kim, well, if your internet connection drops, we'll know who to blame. Outstanding. David Blackguard, 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you very much. Buy the better half something nice. She deserves it, to be fair, because you know, I'm away for a whole week and I'm home for a few days, and then I'm tucked up in my office for about 4 or 5 hours. And I was yesterday because I wanted to get updated on the mod and stuff. But bless, I will, and I'll send the message. Thank you. Claudio, hello Flydate Sim. Would you recommend getting the Class 1 medical first of all? I'm pretty healthy and I'm certain I can pass it, or taking care of the financial, I'm choosing the school part first. 100% get your Class 1 medical first. 100%. You know, you might have some underlying problem, you know, which could be preventing you. You know, you might get your hearts up, start flying lessons, get on your Class 2, get your PPL, and all of a sudden you do your Class 1, you realise you can't go for your dream. So yeah, 100% get your Class 1 done. Kim, oh my goodness. Kim, another member, €5. Yep, throw some chocolate. Well, I will. My goodness, Chaz, no need, really, thank you. Bless her.
Aroma radar 1946.
Zero Games D, how long should the engine handle 104% N1? That's a good question, actually. If you firewall the thrust lever, which you would do in certain situations, like wind shear escape, terrain escape, or something like that, you know, 3 minutes really. You don't want to be hanging up at that sort of power for that long. I should know actually really what is the kind of maximum limit there, but you'd seldom need to have it for as long as the maximum limit anyway. I've done a wind shear escape some time ago for the right hand seat, and we firewalled it. I literally only had it there for 5 seconds. So much power. So yeah, only there. Finley Barfoot, would you fly to Gibraltar? Yes, perhaps one day. That has been requested before. And we have Innsbruck on the list, Samos on the list, but they actually do require some preparation and looking thought into as well. Looking into. Excellent. Right, so progressing well. Got Pisa here. We've just flown over Rome. That's a shame, we missed that. There it is. A bit further back there. I think that's our own layer. You can just about see Fiumicino. No, that was a shame, we missed that. Evan Westcott, $4.99. Thank you very much for some more chocolate, guys. Really, honestly, I don't know. Very, very generous, really. Thank you very much. I'll pass these messages on. I'm actually going to message her now to say this. Watch the stream. And she's entertaining her parents at the moment. They're around as well, so their in-laws had to be told that I'm not going to be available this afternoon.
Shuttle 523 Roma.
Perfect. Finley Barfoot, I'm a new pilot to the commercial side in sim and tried flying into Innsbruck. Didn't go well. Yeah, quite challenging airport reality and in a sim. And really, I mean, it's weird to say this, but not flying these approaches. Not saying that flying these approaches in a sim is harder, but from a single pipe perspective it is, because you haven't got the other guy to do all the other jobs that you're trying to do. So flying those challenging approaches are difficult.
Radio check, please.
Do you hear me?
Oh, someone's having radio issues.
I hear you 5 on 5. Can you tell me if you copy?
Yes, I copy you.
Cool.
Roger, it's 196.7. Continue climb 360. Correction,
Wow, look at all
300.
the controllers on here. Yeah, I did see there was a VATSIM event for the Mediterranean, and I was considering flying into Parma, but Nice was somewhere I hadn't been to, so I thought we'd give it a shot. Matt Robinson, absolutely. Me as well. Cool. There we go. So I hope the approach made sense anyway. It should still be quite tricky because you're having to hand fly, look for something out the window, but what I can do is whilst we're outbound on the or inbound on the 354 here, I could just go heading select or disconnect it, and I can actually tune the ILS, and you can intercept the ILS from 4 miles or so, which is some of the guidance we have I found. Have you ever had an armed person on board? No, but I have had a deportee, who was escorted by a police officer, but he had no firearm on him. But no one with a firearm, or at least I know of. Finley Barfoot, did you watch the EasyJet programme? I did see some bits of it, a little bit sensationalised, but a nice kind of insight into what we kind of get up to. Certainly it's a Airbus operator, very similar really.
With 100 Charlie at Roma and 505
Miguel S, by the way, of Mediterranean events, did you see the new Parma scene for Expo 11? I did, and I have purchased it. We will go back there.
Roger, you are here.
Well, no, any guesses to Mariana Lou in the chat is?
Enclose 6 Romeo.
Oh, I messaged her to say that your chaps got a bit crazy. She have to make me a cup of tea. Oh dear.
Clear to Vienna via Exos 6 Romeo departure, transition the 6 Charlie. Initial climb
okay, you contact radar. We are currently talking to Roma radar. And we were given a nice direct to Dobbin.
We will do retaliatory back is correct.
Hugo, they put too much into showing a woman in the flight at EasyJet. That's what happens when you get a woman in the Well, that's not a bad thing. I think, to be fair, that the industry really did need that shake-up. There's nothing wrong with that. There we go. Well, it's actually quite quiet on the frequency. Right, so checking the VATSIM traffic, we're still with Roma radar, or centre, and we've got Nice Tower online.
Only for 987 Roma.
That's cool. Just trying to get the frequency for later, so we have to change it over. Leicester, he is the tower, the chap on tower frequency, 118.7.
Only for 987 Roma.
Oh.
Only for 987, please go ahead. Only for 987, expect Azino 2 Papa runway 16 right.
There we go. So we'll probably have several other frequency changes prior to Nice Tower on the way, but seeing it's only online when we get there. Birdman, thank you very much. ATIS update, Marseille information Bravo, 1600 UTC, expect approach RNAV. And then a VPT landing runway 04 left, takeoff runway 05, wind 130 degrees at 4. Variable. Well, we can plan off the RNAV because I think that is actually what they expect here. It's very similar. So what we'll do, same arrival. We'll delete that.
Alpha 655 Roma.
Home. Just get the charts first. I think that would be a little bit more realistic as well. But there's not much in it. Oh, what am I doing? AirVTAB, airport. There we go. Search. Back, so approach and RNAV GNSS Zulu. I think that would be the full approach in though. We're expecting
655, buonasera.
RNAV Alpha preferred.
Cruising on flight level 380.
Angola 655, good effect.
Alpha, VPT
Azino 2 Papa, arrival 16 right.
It's VPT Delta, isn't it, I think? No, oh no, what am I doing? I'm trying to work out which approach we can expect. It got GNSS Delta.
Roger that.
Runway 22, no. Yankee.
Runway 16 right at room 22, Angola 655. Thank you.
This is RNAV Alpha, but where is... here we go. RNAV Alpha.
55,
so that's exactly the same, except it's an RNAV overlay.
5512 for Angola 655.
And I think the circle's the same after that anyway.
Scandinavian 1171 Roma.
I'm just looking for the chart on my... laptop. So sorry guys, so I'm actually trying to find out which circling chart I need. RNAV GNSS initial. That's the initial, and we've got, I think it's still the circling alpha. It couldn't be anything else really.
Roma, I'm on the 987 already for this one.
I mean, it says after VOR alpha, but it's the same. It's the same kind of. It would be anything different there, so it's fine. So we're going to select RNAV Alpha into the FMC. RNAV Yankee. RNAV Yankee Zulu. RNAV Alpha via Neraz execute. Execute RW04L.
Promise to the Scandinavian 1171. Just confirm you've handing you over to Unicorn 122.8. Thank you.
Just make sure this all joins up.
Thank you,
This is my concentration mode because I've gone very silent. There we go. It's exactly the same as the VO Alpha, except it's RNAV waypoints.
Scandinavian 1.
And we'll have the ILS on standby anyway. There we go. Perfect. So this now we've got selected RNAV Alpha, Mike November 04 Alpha is the FAL. We've got Mike November 512. So again, it's slightly different to the chart I have here. Mike November 04 Alpha. This is Mike November
100 Charlie, push and start approved.
Oh, that's the missed approach. Yeah, perfect. I was misreading everything. We've got all the correct waypoints coded there as well. So yeah, it's exactly the same as the VOR Alpha, except it's an RNAV. You don't necessarily need the VOR tuned. You can just basically follow the RNAV points. And that means actually to make it easier, you can set the ILS up straight away. But I'd actually still want to have the VOR active. 1088, which I only tuned up one side.
436, Roger, wind
So
from
CGS.
280 knots, clear for takeoff, runway 25.
1092.
Takeoff runway 25.
There we go. So we've still got the VOR there as a kind of a backup to follow, and then we've got the ILS 10995 with the inbound courses set as well. So yeah, it's exactly the same, guys, but it's an RNAV. But I think actually I've read the aerodrome information. It says you can expect RNAV approach Alpha for 04 left or 04 right. Perfect. Well, if they do an ILS, that'll be boring. They could vector us onto the ILS, which is fine, but we'll request RNAV Alpha followed by the circle.
Right now to
More fun.
good evening, Grumman Control. Descending to...
Cool, approaching top of
Lima,
descent.
India, Romeo.
So far, so good. It looks
runway
like we left the
15.
gremlins behind in Corfu. Oh, what a start. Everything going wrong. Power lights still on the rudder pedals, which is good.
Runway 15, continue descent for level 200.
Excellent.
Expect Gito 1 Delta.
Still got all that information on the fixed page. Yeah, 04 left and the CGS. Cool. Hello, frequency oscillator ring modulator. I certainly remember you. That name is quite a mouthful. Is there a camera in the flight deck? There isn't. No cameras on the flight deck. Not here, anyway. Fetty Barfoot might have done. Tom, what does GNSS stand for? It stands for Global Navigation Satellite System. It's basically the word to explain all the GPSs we have up there. GPS, all the satellites, which is obviously used every single day.
Color 655, descent level 200.
There we go.
Well, 655,
Oh.
200.
Matt
Roger
Robinson.
01,
There we go.
Roma.
Romo, broadsword 01, go ahead.
Roger 01, monitor Unicorn 1228, bye bye.
1 Unicorn 122.8, broadsword 01. Thanks to service, bye bye. Perfect. Well, that's no ATC for a while. Oh, stupidly I did that and then I had the the Nice Tower frequency, which I've already forgotten. Ah dear. I didn't anticipate going to Unicom prior to Nice Tower, which was 1187. There we go. Quite a long flight actually. Probably should have done a destination a little closer. We'll be now airborne for 1 hour 19 minutes. Thomas Evans, have you heard they're making an underwater theme park out of a 747? Yeah, I did see something on BBC News about that, but I didn't actually read the article. Yeah, that was an interesting one. My Chinese friend, what if a pilot disagrees with an ATC instruction? Well, we wouldn't really need to disagree with an ATC, but let's imagine we were avoiding action for weather, and you know they said, "Oh, unable." You know, we had the final call. If it's for safety reasons, I'm going to make that call and then file a report to explain why I had to make it. Obviously, we don't intentionally or wish to refuse ATC because they've got an incredible job to do, and especially when you're in airspace such as London, which is some of the most congested airspace in the world. There's so much going on. They really have to work hard to control all the traffic, make sure there's sufficient separation. But yeah, if you have to override for safety reasons you do it. Martin Tajira, my ZIBO is insanely sensitive to every input I make. What should I do? Have a look at the settings, but I mean, there's a big discussion about settings, what you can do to fine-tune them. Now, I have a cheap, very old Logitech Extreme 3D Pro joystick, and I think I've just got it set everything to 50%. You're meant to turn one of the things to 0% for realism, but I don't know. I seldom hand fly in the mod, so I don't know. It feels okay to me, certainly within the confines of a desktop simulator. Right, there's top of descent anyway. What we'll do, let's have a look at the first restriction on the star. We'll whack that in. All my charts are in the wrong order now. I try and do it in order. So carry at or below flight level 170. So what we'll do, we'll stick in 170. Now that restriction is actually going to leave you quite low. It's a very early descent, so we'll probably have a level segment after carry at 170 for a while. Chap, I can't read your username, but he's asked what's the reason for the precise parking at the gate. Well, we want to try and park exactly on the centre line because some stands are very narrow, so if you're not on your line, you're risking having your wingtip clipped or your tail clipped, so you want to be as accurate as possible. That's why we have guidance on to stand. Tronich, have you ever been scared when flying about something happening? Not really. I mean, you'd never leave the house if you had that kind of attitude. You know, you're far more likely driving your car to be involved in an accident. Anything could happen. I've never had anything that's scary. It could happen, but we're trained to deal with these situations. So yeah, not really scared. I would say that's the incorrect word. If the weather's bad, you always have a bit of apprehension. I think that's probably the best word to describe it, especially when you don't know what to expect. But we all have very strict limits, and if the weather's bad in that sort of situation, we take a lot of extra fuel, which is time, and we will take enough fuel to ensure that if it isn't good enough, we can get somewhere which is good enough. And actually, as captain now, I was doing a flight back to the UK, and the wind at the airports, or at my destination, all the old turns around, were all very much approaching limits, so I actually took enough fuel to bugger off about 300 miles away onto another continent, because it's just nice to know that if you can't get in anywhere, you've got somewhere to go. So yeah, those sort of situations you cover yourself. Alright, looks like VNAV's behaving itself, saying drag required, but it shouldn't need to. It's on its target speed. We're descending on a VNAV idle path based on 284 knots. We can now set the bank angle to 25 degrees. And you can see there's that level segment, look, from 170 at caret, and then we'll start descent again at this position. So you've got this kind of level segment. But you have to obviously comply with any restrictions set by ATC. If it was quiet, they might disregard the restriction, but we'll follow the star as planned. Oh, there we are. I love that, coming in off the chart. And remember, we're not flying out this 6 Charlie, we're doing the 6 Romeo, which is direct to Kesak after Kerrit. See a lot of chit chat about my employment. As I said, if you're new to the channel, any questions regarding my employment, who I work for, will not be answered. Persistent asking will see yourself thrown out the chat. as Evan Westcott perfectly put it. The Everything Gaming, what does MCP stand for? It stands for Mode Control Panel. It's how you manipulate the autopilot. And here's a top tip for you. This, as you see it in now, LNAV and VNAV, a lot of people think that's all we do is sit in LNAV VNAV all day. That is not often the case. Yes, right now it's perfect because we're following magenta line precisely, but if you're under vectors or you get shortcuts, you know, really treat this like a toolbox. Use whatever mode you need to do. So if you end up getting high, you can probably go level change, increase your speed. Vertical speed does exactly what it says. You directly control your rate of descent at the expense of speed, but the auto throttle will do its absolute best to maintain it. But whilst we're descending perfectly on the vertical profile, let's use VNAV. So you're often changing it several times on the descent there. Somewhere 95. I learned more on your streams than all the others put together. Sorry I can't donate, but just want to let you know you're highly valuable. I never expect any donation from anyone, Somewhere 95. As I've said before, all my content is going to always be free of charge for streaming, and I don't ever expect anything, and I'm always very grateful for the people that do make a tip and donation or are members, because they kind of realise the amount of effort I put in. Actually, one of the things I did on the X-Plane now, I've logged 500 hours, but actually if I worked out the time I did making content, it must be well over 1,500, 2,000 hours of content making or something. So yeah, it keeps me busy, but I do secretly enjoy it. I don't confess it to my friends, but I do. Yeah, I sat this morning getting everything ready for the stream. I enjoy doing that. I used to enjoy it as I was younger. I enjoy doing it for reality, and if you enjoy doing it, why not do so? Why would you do anything else? You know, I just love it. I just love to saturate myself in everything aviation related and share you guys. So, oh look at that! I went on a right little jolly down Mary Lane there. But yeah, I love it. I just love doing this. It's cool. Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 is going to be so good. Let's hope so. Let's hope they don't monetize it and go crazy. We'll definitely jump in that sim though. We'll do a fun flight sim Cessna. We need to do it in X-Plane 11, but I said I just don't have the time. I might take I've been considering taking my PC to my base, you know, where I'm based now. So when I'm on the evenings or if I'm on standby, I can at least do it on stream there. Nathan Andrews, $1.99. Thank you very much. Great content as always. Well, cheers. Oh look, we've got Nice approach. Please contact me on 13447. So a different frequency again. Standby. Oh, there was ATIS as well. We didn't listen to that. There we go.
Afternoon, Nice approach, Scandinavian 1171 with you.
Nice approach.
170, expecting descent towards 110 by Nera. Also expecting 04 left.
I've got a cup of tea coming in as well from my half, and Jack's in the room as well. Literally the busiest time ever. Thanks, John. Oh, he's got a squeaky toy.
Scandinavian 1171, good evening.
Brilliant, thank you.
Identify the continue direction descent.
Oh my god, why is everything going on at once? Good boy. Go on then.
Scandinavian 1171.
My goodness, how busy has this become? Nice approach, bonjour. It's Broadsword 01, descending flight level 170 inbound to Kerrit. Thank you.
Broadsword 001, bonjour, very good afternoon. Continue descent flight level 120, proceed direction Neras. Expect RNAV Alpha approach, runway 04 left.
Descent flight level 120, route now direct to Neras. Expect the RNAV approach 04 left, Broadsword 01. So, descent flight level 120, that's set and checked. We can now proceed direct to Neras. Now that's going to get rid of the restriction, so you'll notice VNAV profile will update to show us very low on profile, very high. That's unusual. No, pretty much on profile actually. Wasn't expecting that. And yeah, we told RNAV approach runway 04 left. Now I'm hoping that's the shortened approach, but seeing we have the RNAV 04 left, it's the only approach that comes in this direction. I'm quite confident it is. Oh, I have missed all the chat here as well. Go Jack, Squeak, love it. He's trying to contact ATC too. Absolutely. Everything going on at once. I actually have, if you remember, you could use the Jack emoji, which I've got somewhere. It's actually him. There you go. Bit of a banter. Brilliant. Oh, that's taking the mickey out of my accent. Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, sorry. So he said descend 120. So yeah, VNAV shows on profile because it's generated a level segment based off 170. So what we're going to do is push out to vent, and that will allow the aircraft to descend at 1,000 feet per minute. He says it should do. Why is that not doing that? Well, it should be descending at 1,000 feet per minute now. It's probably because we're very far from top set, so we're just going to go vertical speed 500 feet per minute. No, SAS 1171, I loved it. I loved the accent. I just have a really generic English accent because I'm from the Philippines. It'd be bonsoir, sorry. I always forget if it's bonjour or bonsoir, which time it changes.
Scandinavian 117, approach.
Scandinavian 117, go ahead.
That's my best Scandinavian accent, you know, love it.
Scandinavian 117, continue left heading 270,
Right, so I don't know why
descend to 5,000 feet, QNH
it's not allowing me to
1015.
do a continued descent from that point. It should update to go into descent mode, but as soon as you get back onto profile after top of descent, you'll see the profile comes back towards you, and then we'll re-engage VNAV.
Easy 376 Alpha, turn right heading 180.
So there is actually a full-length RNAV approach here. So what I'm going to do with the controller is request, just to confirm what the RNAV approach is, because there is an RNAV approach which is like from a 10-mile final, which is going to be boring.
Alpha.
So I just want to make sure that he can cater for that. I'll just show you on the chart. Look,
Easy 376
get rid of
Alpha,
star
turn
charts,
right
we've got a good
heading
shortcut.
180.
So there is a full RNAV approach here. Look, 04 left. There you go, look, from Lempu, which is a boring 10-mile final one, so we want to do the fun 4-mile one for noise. So I'm just going to confirm. I mean, he did say RNAV. Did he say RNAV Alpha? I'll just confirm with him, because we don't want to do the boring 10-mile final approach. We want to do the fun visual circle. Visual. The VO approach to circling. Nice approach from broadsword 01. Just for the descent planning, can you confirm it's the RNAV Alpha approach to the circle visual procedural turn?
Broadsword 01, affirmative, it will be RNAV Alpha approach for 04 left.
Thank you, broadsword 01. So yeah, RNAV Alpha is this.
And Broadsword 01, stop to descent flight level 140, please.
Stop descent flight level 140, broadsword 01. So when we get a stop descent, we immediately push out hold. That just stops the aircraft from descending straight away, and then you could update, usually go to level change, but as we've only got one to go onto vertical speed, it's just really important you do that. And you can see how, if you had some, I wasn't too sure if we were going to be doing the full RNAV approach, and he told it was Alpha, which I missed. It's no problem confirming with ATC. Even in reality, it could be embarrassing, think, oh, I wasn't listening properly, but this happens all the time, you know, especially as you're unfamiliar, and that's why we stop descent. Look, traffic right in front of us. Pretty cool.
Broadsword 01, descent flight level 70.
Descend flight level 70, broadsword 01. So 70 checked, and we can now select VNAV again, and it will now do 1,000 feet per minute. Should do. Why is it leveling off?
RNAV Alpha approach, runway 04 left.
Yeah, there we go. Now it's doing 1,000 feet per minute to capture the profile.
Alpha, RNAV approach, Scandinavian 117.
Actually, I didn't want to quite get rid of that star chart.
Easy 376 Alpha.
Oh, we know we're routing direct to Neraz anyway, and hopefully after Neraz will be vectors towards Bisbee.
Lufthansa 674, can you tell me your next waypoint, please?
This guy's very good. Love the professionalism.
Lufthansa 674, we are on a heading of 130.
And also bursting for a P. Oh, I've got a lovely brew on here though.
Lufthansa 674,
sorry for all the slurping noises.
heading 0, 3100.
David Blanco, did I see traffic on the port window? You did, but that's quite normal.
Left
Often
heading 10,
see traffic that close. That's why you got to stop descending.
Road 01 after Neras, continue heading 270, descend to 5000 feet, QNH 1015.
After Neras, heading 270 degrees, descend altitude 5,000 feet, QNH 1015, broadsword 01. So 5,000 feet checked and set. Set QNH 1015.
Canadian 1171, descend to 3000
Passing
feet.
12,800, 5,000 feet, standby altimeter is set.
Descend 3,000
And we
feet,
preset the heading
Canadian
of
117.
270 degrees, so it's straight ahead, but we'll keep Bisbo as the active waypoint.
326 Alpha, continue left
Again,
turning 360.
Kian Tran, show us your face, please. Negative. Some actually say that I don't have a face. I'm actually a robot.
Easy 366 Alpha, turn left heading 360.
Cool. So traffic here as well.
Is that left from 360 for
This is normal. We often see
370?
a lot more traffic than this.
Yes sir, for you.
Thanks.
Oh, I really need to pee as well.
Lufthansa 674, climb flight level
So
240.
we've got tower frequency on standby.
Flight level
LFMN
240,
tower,
Lufthansa
Leicester 118.7. He's on standby. Traffic. So you should usually hear traffic with a TA like that, and you'd actually be looking for that visually.
Road 01,
Can't see, there it is.
proceed direct Bisbo, clear RNAV Alpha approach, Runway 04 left.
Direct Bisbo cleared, RNAV approach 04 left, broadsword 01. Perfect, so direct to Bisbo, I've updated it, LNAV's engaged, VNAV's engaged, aircraft, and the mod is correctly decelerating to 240 knots below 100, which is set in the FMC, so that's all working correctly. Peter P for how long till final? I'd say we'd be touching down in approximately 10 minutes. And as approaching 10,000 feet, we could do the post-cruise checks now. So fuel 4 pumps, we have on board 4.4, so that's a plenty. Our diversion point is Marseille, if we can't get into Nice. Lights are on, AP off, pressurization 3.5 set, seatbelts on, we do the recall, and the post-cruise checks complete. Tolga, flying fur at the top of the screen looks good, thanks for sharing. No problem, that's all Project Fly. But that was requested quite a bit. Ah, look at that. VNAV, ZIBO, well done. Look at that. Decelled perfectly from VNAV descent of 284 to 240. And now descending correctly there. Now we've got another decel point. Now ZIBO's done a lot of work to update the decel point to ensure it works correctly. So the next decel point is based on 190 knots at Bisbo. Now just to remind you, if you've just tuned in what we're going to do, we're routing direct to Bisbo. Right turn to 04 Alpha, then Mike November 04 Alpha. And then we're flying the VPT, or circle with prescribed tracks, on a heading of 354 to intercept the ILS, which is about a 4-mile final,
apologies,
109.2.
Go around, so you can take
someone's gone around.
right turn heading 180.
Right on heading 180 with Lufthansa 674.
Apology for this, sir.
Anyone knows if I can get flight deck sim airlines livery for my ZIBO? You can actually. What I need to do is set up Nightbot. Give you the link for the Google Drive for that. I'll do that post stream as I'm a little busy now. So I do get that asked quite a lot. How many watching? 529 people watching. Outstanding. 529 people about to watch me absolutely smash it down, or go around, or be unstable.
Turn heading 20, descend to flight level 70.
So we've got the Charlie Golf Sierra VOR tuned, even though we're not using it, so we're flying the RNAV approach.
Scandinavian 1171, contact Nice Tower 108.7. Bye bye.
All looking good.
Nice Tower 8.7, Scandinavian 1171, thank you, bye bye.
Broadsword 01, descend to 3000 feet.
Descend 3,000 feet, broadsword 01. So 3,000 feet, and we are cleared RNAV approach, so after that we can step down as per the procedure.
76 Alpha, descend flight level 80.
I had the partner there. What did she say? Who's the flight attendant? Feelings for you. You better not come out of the office today. Dagger. David Blancott, hey viewers, please smash that like button. Yeah, I never say that. Yeah, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so, subscribe and watch that content. I do put a lot of effort into it, so it is coming from the mouth of someone who sort of knows what he's doing. I pretend I know what I'm doing. I really don't have a clue. Modesty is a good trait, though. Temporarily grounded. I'm sure you've already answered this, but which version of the ZIBO mod is this? It is 314 RC14, which ZIBO will post publicly as soon as I've touched down. He'll post it and you'll have it available. As you can see, someone's already put exclamation mark ZIBO to explain what this version has. The main new feature is that you get the JPU available at gate supported airports. So hopefully if we pull onto a gate here with the air bridge, we'll get it attached and we'll have some ground power. If it is supported, I'm sure it is. Kim, thank you for allowing me to fly another sector. I don't think I can. I'm boiling. Honestly, the temperature in here right now, I am melting. Right, anyway, you can see the aircraft's gone to the decel point. It is struggling to slow down, so I'm just going to use speed brake here. Just to help it going down, because Bisbo, I think we did have 190 or below, you can see drag quite, so it did struggle a little bit with that last decel point there, so we might just go ever so slightly faster than 190 here, but we can select flap 1 now, open the speed window, and we'll bug the flap 1 speed.
Copy that at 436.
There we go. And that's flap 1. We'll just go flap 5 just to help us slow down. We should just about make 190 or less at Bisbo. I wasn't really paying attention there.
We're actually right now on 250. Oh, okay. Perfect.
There we go. Now, we've done the approach checklist as well to confirm we've got everything set up correctly, which it does look like we have. Just about doing 190 knots.
5,000 feet, VNH 1015.
Oh, did I update the minima for this approach? I don't think I did I? I did 2,000 feet. Yeah. That's checked. So, 2 miles from the final approach fix now, we can set the MDA to ensure the aircraft continues set to 2,000 feet set. Verify we've got VNAV path speed windows open. We can now stow the speed brake, speed under control. And there we go. And the whole idea of this approach, sorry I'm talking over the control here, is to avoid this terrain or area here for noise. So we've cut this out completely. This is the exact approach they try to fly.
Broadsword 01, contact tower 118.7, request landing, over.
Tower 118.7, Mercy, broadsword 01, hover. Perfect. So tower is tuned. We'll just get past the final approach fix here before we check in, and then I'll start configuring. So getting very busy now. So there's the FAF. We check we're at the right height, 3,000 feet. That's mandatory. No flags. Now we're descending down this vertical profile here.
1,000 to go.
East Tower, bonjour or bonsoir, broadsword 01. We're established on the RNAV approach and turning final in approximately 1 minute. That's completely incorrect in phraseology, by the way.
Oh my
God.
Continue approach.
Continue approach, broadsword 01. Right, now's a good time to configure, so gear down, flap 15. Landing checklist of flaps, match speed. So, start switches, continuous, getting really busy now. Recall check, speed brake are green light. Landing gear down, true green, auto brake set to 3. And getting ready to disconnect and hand fly. There's out acquire. I would usually say something else. I'm going to hand fly now, disconnect. And what we can actually do, we can tune the ILS, 10995, arm the approach, there we go, and ignoring the flight directors complete now. I shall get rid of these, and we've got the ILS there, so we're going to fly this manual. Actually, can I pop it back on? Yes we can, there we go. So we've got the ILS now, and we're just going to keep on this heading and track. We'll now select the landing flap, flap 30, oh this is so tough. And this glide slope's really helping me, actually. Oh yeah, would match the heading. These are all jobs the pilot monitoring would be doing, and setting the missed approach altitude 3,000 feet set. So it could figure nice and early, but that's the way you want to be on this approach. Getting ready for that turn on to final. Just to show you where we are. Oh, this is so busy. There we go. We're just getting ready to turn final on this visual prescribed track. There we go.
Wind 109.
Runway 04 left cleared to land, broadsword 01. So we can set runway heading, flaps, we've got 30 required, 30 selected green light, lights are on, checklist is complete. And we can now continue that turn on to the final before I overshoot the localizer. Wasn't concentrating. There it is, Pappy's looking good. Not too difficult this one, not too difficult. There we go. So I could have probably, I mean I've configured very, very early. Hello Captain, well thank you very much. I've configured very early because I'm unfamiliar with this approach, I've not even practiced it. I'll get back on the localizer here as well. So I could probably have delayed the gear and flaps slightly as well. Right, so get back onto the centre line, it is getting a bit high now, look, 3 whites. Got messages coming in left, right and centre. My rate of descent is a little bit high, I don't want to be doing more than 1,000 feet per minute really. There we go, we're back all stabilised now. Still a tad high. I've got a tip and donation coming in. I'm going to delay looking at that. Look at that, no winds. Oh guys, get excited. I have a landing rate calculator as requested by many people, so you should see it pop up when I've landed. Whatever that is. I know, the lower the better. Right, fully stable, speed's good. Over the threshold about 50. Still slightly left of sense line, so I'll get that fixed before we get over the threshold. Pappies look good. 2 reds, 2 whites. Bang on the glide slope. The sim is excellent.
100.
Here we go.
50. 40. 30.
Check.
20,
Close.
10.
Oh, come on. I need a really low score on my landing rate calculator. I don't know what that is. I didn't see it come up. Speed breaks up. We're going to go idle reverse today. There we go. Auto brake's working well. 100 knots. 80 knots.
80 knots.
And we'll take this high speed exit here. The auto brake here works fantastically now. 60 knots manual braking. And we'll vacate here to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nice. Outstanding flight. After all the problems we had at the start. Cancelling reverse. And I'll just stand by for the instructions from tower. Absolutely nowhere. Where do we vacate at? Golf 1.
Most everyone welcoming Nice game 10 Alpha via Golf Tango.
Stand 10 Alpha via Golf and Tango broadsword 01. Thank you. Right, so I have absolutely no idea where I'm going. So Golf 1 I think is straight ahead. This is where preparation is key because I didn't even brief any of this. So Golf 1 I think is straight ahead. And then he said Tango. So Tango is the second taxiway. So I think we're going to go straight ahead here. Although I would definitely be confirming that in reality. Flaps up, speed brakes up. I'm just going to find out where in the world I'm going. Because I have absolutely no chart open here at all. Was it a butter, guys? I didn't see the landing rate calculator. You're going to have to let me know what it is. I think there's a way of even you guys predicting it. Oh yeah, I think I know where I'm going. Golf Tango. Let's fix the rest of this up now as well.
Please stand on side, the 36 Alpha is with you.
Oh, look at the traffic. There we go. And 10 Alpha is along the Tango taxiway here. It's quite a straightforward taxi in here. Right, transponder to out of. What else did I do? Auto brake to off. Flight directors off. This can go to 100, this to 100, start switch up done, and the Pro P off as well. Right, and then we'll start the APU and we'll try and test ZIBO's new gate bridge GPU power. Well, if it has a gate, but I hope stand 10. I think it does, looking at the charts. Minus 114 feet per minute, that is an absolute butter. Oh my goodness me. I hope you enjoyed that anyway. I think it's just a bit of banter, isn't it? I've always confessed I have no idea what rate of descent constitutes a smooth landing, but I'm sure 114 is pure butter. Love it. Right, so there's 8 Charlie. It looks like we do have an air bridge. It's going to be a slight turn, and then stand 10 is going to be just on the corner there. Where is 10 Alpha? There we go. And we do have an air bridge, so we'll be able to test the mod's new GPU connection. Right, turn off and taxi out, so we don't blind the marshaller. Do we have any gate guidance? here we do. Ooh, that's not the best turn on stand. Oh, I just love flight sim. Yeah, I'd love to have some days off just to do streams, honestly. It's fun. Love it. Set Boeing 738. Amazing. Just incredible. For those of you interested as well, this scenery is from, let me try and remember, Just Sim. It's just actually only just recently been updated, so I downloaded it the other day to the updated version. Stop, it says. There we go. Parking brake is set. Now, GPU available. Look at that. Well done, ZIBO. That's really cool. It wouldn't be quite quick as that, but we don't even need to start the APU look. But yeah, they can if you've got the APU inoperative. You have to wait for them to GPU to be connected, so excellent work, ZIBO. Right, so we've got 2 blues, 1 red, engine's dead, that one as well, seatbelt sign off. Cab crew disarm, slides, open doors. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nice. The local time is 5:55. We'll do the transit shutdown checklist, and collision light off. Oh no, leave those on auto, voice recorder on, isolation valve open as well. There we go. Look at that. That is just wicked. That was a really good flight, and it makes up for all that awful start I had with all the preparations. Right, we'll say thanks to this guy. I think there is some VATSIM etiquette for the service. It would seem that the air bridge is somewhat morphed into the aircraft somewhat, but that's probably because I'm off the centreline slightly. Yes, it is. Right, anyway. Broadsword 01 is now on stand. Thank you very much for the service this evening. Au revoir. Perfect. He said his goodbyes. Sorry for this, guys, and then we'll do the replay and all the usual stuff. But I always like to see the comments anyway. Oh, look at this landing rate calculator, noise abatement, blah blah blah. Predicts smash. I've got some guesses in there because I have watched other streamers use like the guess thing. You can guess it there. Clear to land. Matt Robertson using an interesting call sign there. Nice. It was good up. Minus 114 feet per minute, but good landing. I left for a snack now, knowing that you were on short final. That's not the best of timing aviation, Daniel, there. But it was an excellent landing. We'll look at the replay anyway there. It was extremely fun nonetheless. And we didn't get lost taxiing in as well, which is always a bonus. Right, so we do this. Flight, toggle replay mode, and here is the outro music. Right, let's get ourselves right over the threshold. Let's have a look at the butter from the touchdown zone. Oops, on the wrong runway though. I think if you get a bit closer, it'll hopefully recognise we're on the other runway. It's put us on 04 right, unfortunately. I'll keep pressing shift 3 until we get a bit closer in. Why is that not using the correct threshold? Oh well. Well, you might have to see the butter from a little bit further away, pressing shift 3 for the threshold, but you'll see. That would be a great from a spotter's point of view. Oh, there we go. Right, let me just go for the replay from there, so you can actually see the butter. I always want to make sure it goes over the threshold. There we go. Here we go. Close project flight. Oh yes, I will do that. I forgot to do that. Nice. It was very smooth indeed. Minus 112 feet per minute. I can even see that on my thing, but I'll shut the overlay off so you can see it a little bit clearer. This is all new to me. I've never had the overlay before. I just want to look at that butter one more time because it was, yeah, beauty. Nice. Oh, could have delayed an extra foot. Nice. That was very, very smooth indeed. Right, let's have a little look from the tower view. Actually, no, this view here. There we go. Look at this panning and zooming. Very nice. Sorry, I love doing these replays. It's what makes Explain 11 so great as well. Anyway, guys, that'll do for the replays today. Firstly, I'd like to thank you very much for your patience if you were here at the start of the stream, because it took absolutely ages to get things started. Had issues with the PC, had issues with my rudder pedals, had issues with the microphone, but with your patience, we managed to get through, and it was a really good approach. No problems on VATSIM thankfully today. The AC was brilliant, and I hope I kind of demonstrated quite nicely how we fly the approach into Nice with all that high workload. Regarding the next live stream, as a lot of you are fully familiar, I cannot give you any sort of schedule because I spend more than half my time about 400 miles away from home, but I'll hopefully get back to you with some information for a stream. It's going to probably be at least 2 weeks or so, but I'll keep you posted on the social media. And if you are new to my channel, make sure you keep subscribed to my social media feeds like Instagram stories. I do a lot of those now flying to keep you updated with where I'm going. Thank you very much to anyone that tipped or donated again. Most certainly not necessary, but I really appreciate it, and everyone that subscribed as a new member as well. Welcome to the channel, and I'll chat with you later on Discord. Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye for now.